The AI Dilemma. The future isn't written by AI, it's written by how we use it. Elaine Lloyd and Jaideep Parashar. Copyright information. The AI Dilemma. Copyright 2025 by Elaine Lloyd and Jaideep Parashar. All rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced or transmitted in any form or by any means without written permission from the author. Preface. Artificial intelligence is no longer a distant idea from science fiction. It is here, shaping our businesses, our communities, and even our daily choices. With the rise of generative AI, the world has stepped into a new era of possibility and paradox. For every breakthrough in medicine, education, or productivity, there is a corresponding risk, bias, misinformation, surveillance, or loss of human touch. This is the AI dilemma, a tool with limitless potential that can either empower humanity or erode what makes us human, depending on how we choose to use it. This book is born from that tension. It is not a technical manual filled with algorithms, nor a utopian novel that dreams blindly of the future. Instead, it is a balanced exploration of AI as both a power and a responsibility. We take you on a journey through healthcare, education, climate solutions, wealth creation, and human creativity, showing how AI can be a partner for progress. But we also confront the darker side. Bias in the machine, deepfakes, the erosion of trust, and the ecological footprint of our digital choices. Our goal is not just to analyze, but to inspire. We believe that the real challenge of the AI age is not intelligence, but clarity. Clarity in thinking, clarity in systems, and clarity in ethics. AI can execute, but it cannot envision. That task remains ours. This book is also a deeply personal collaboration. Coming from two different worlds. Elaine with her humanitarian, empathetic lens shaped by resilience and healing, and myself, Jaideep, with my years of research across business, technology, and AI, we found common ground in a shared vision, that AI must serve humanity, not the other way around. As you turn these pages, we invite you not just to learn, but to reflect. To see AI not as a master, but as a tool. To imagine a future where technology and humanity are not in conflict, but in confluence. And above all, to recognize that the future isn't written by AI, it's written by how we use it. Jaideep Parashar and Elaine Lloyd. Introduction. The meeting point of code and compassion. In every age of human civilization, there comes a defining moment, a crossroads where the decisions we make will echo for generations. The agricultural revolution allowed us to settle and feed entire communities. The Industrial Revolution mechanized our hands and changed the nature of labor forever. The digital revolution connected our voices, collapsing distances and reshaping economies. Now, the artificial intelligence revolution stands ready to amplify our minds. This is not just another technological wave, it is the first that can learn, adapt, and make decisions. It can generate answers, design solutions, and predict outcomes at a scale our ancestors could never imagine. The promise is breathtaking. AI can decode the mysteries of rare diseases in hours, predict climate shifts decades ahead, and design economic solutions tailored to the needs of a single remote village. It can help a visually impaired person see through descriptive audio, guide a farmer in rural Africa on the best planting strategy, and create a personalized treatment plan for a cancer patient that no single doctor could have produced alone. But the peril is equally daunting. The same algorithms that can diagnose illness can also be trained to spread disinformation. The same models that can predict crop yields can be misused to manipulate markets. The same tools that can give a voice to the voiceless can also be weaponized to silence truth. Deepfakes erode trust in what our eyes see and ears hear. Algorithmic bias can reinforce systemic inequalities. And the concentration of AI power in the hands of a few corporations or governments could skew the balance of opportunity for decades to come. Why this book was needed. Technology today is advancing at a pace unmatched in human history. According to a 2023 McKinsey Global Survey, AI adoption has more than doubled in the last 5 years, with nearly 50% of businesses integrating AI tools into at least one business function. A PwC study projects that AI could contribute up to $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030, more than the current output of China and India combined. Yet UNESCO's recommendation on the ethics of artificial intelligence warns that less than 10% of global AI projects have embedded meaningful ethical safeguards into their design. The World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report, 2023, estimates that while AI will create 69 million jobs by 2027, it will also displace 83 million, leaving a net negative impact on livelihoods unless urgent measures are taken. This gap, between what AI can do and how responsibly it is being implemented, is where our concern lies. Public perception is polarized. Optimists see AI as a miracle worker capable of solving humanity's biggest challenges. Pessimists view it as an existential threat, whether to jobs, privacy, or even human autonomy. What is missing is a balanced, human-centered narrative, one that neither blindly worships nor categorically fears AI, but understands its duality and seeks to guide it toward a moral, inclusive, and sustainable path. That is why this book exists. Our journeys, our purpose. I, Jaideep, took an unconventional route. After being selected for prestigious government positions, a dream for many in my country, I walked away. The call of entrepreneurship, research, and the boundless possibilities of AI was stronger. My life has been shaped by resilience, overcoming significant health challenges, rediscovering my strength through Taekwondo, and learning that discipline is as essential in life as it is in martial arts. In AI, I saw not just an industry, but a force that could reimagine how we solve human problems. I, Elaine, faced a turning point I never sought. When my husband, Neil, passed away unexpectedly, I entered a world of grief and uncertainty. From that darkness, I found purpose, using creativity, compassion, and spirituality to heal my own family and guide others through theirs. I studied grief and bereavement not as an academic exercise but as a lifeline. Today, I work to ensure that no one suffers in silence, encouraging people to channel pain into creation and connection. We met not in a boardroom, but in the limitless expanse of the internet, where ideas travel without borders. In our first exchanges, we realized we were chasing the same vision from two different directions, to bridge the precision of AI with the compassion of humanity. What to expect in this book? This is neither a cold technical manual nor a fictional utopia. It is a conversation in the form of a journey. Between a technologist and a humanitarian, between data and stories, between logic and love. Over the next chapters, you will see how AI is already transforming healthcare, education, climate action, and community development in ways the headlines rarely capture. Explore how AI can democratize opportunity, reduce inequality, and address resource scarcity, if guided with intent. Understand the risks we must confront head-on. Bias in algorithms, misuse of deepfakes, erosion of privacy, and overconcentration of AI power. Discover moral frameworks and collaborative models that can guide AI toward being a partner, not a threat. You will meet innovators using AI to protect endangered rainforests, scientists decoding protein structures for life-saving drugs, and grassroots leaders leveraging AI to predict floods and save entire villages. Alongside these, you will also see cautionary tales. Moments where AI went wrong, and the lessons they hold for us all. The confluence of AI and humanity is not a distant possibility, it is happening now, shaping our economies, our cultures, and even our personal relationships. The question is not whether we will adapt, but how. Will AI widen the gap between the privileged and the vulnerable, or will it become the helping hand that lifts humanity to a new standard of living? Will it be an amplifier of greed and control, or a catalyst for empathy and equality? We invite you to walk this path with us, not as passive readers, but as active participants in shaping an AI future that is not only intelligent, but wise. To your curiosity and conscience. Jaideep Parashar and Elaine Lloyd. Chapter 1, Why this book was needed. Every technology is an amplifier. It multiplies human intention, whether for creation or destruction. In every era, humanity has stood at the edge of a transformation. The printing press democratized knowledge. The steam engine fueled industrial growth. The internet connected billions in seconds. Now, artificial intelligence sits on our collective doorstep, not knocking politely, but already stepping into our homes, workplaces, and governments. The adoption curve is unlike anything before it. Radio took 38 years to reach 50 million users. Television took 13. The internet took just 4. ChatGPT reached 100 million users in 2 months. That speed should inspire awe and caution. The acceleration we can't ignore. A 2023 McKinsey report found that 50% of companies worldwide have already embedded AI into at least one business process. PwC projects AI will add $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. To put that in perspective, that's more than the combined GDP of the European Union today. But here's the other side. The World Economic Forum warns that AI will displace 83 million jobs by 2027, while creating only 69 million new ones, a net loss of 14 million livelihoods. UNESCO reports that less than 10% of AI systems deployed today have any formal ethical safeguards built in. According to the MIT Technology Review, the training data for most large AI models reflects the biases of the societies they originate from, leading to skewed results in hiring, lending, policing, and even medical care. In short, AI's acceleration is outpacing our ethical frameworks. History's warning bells. This is not the first time innovation has outrun our capacity to guide it responsibly. In the Industrial Revolution, mechanized labor brought unprecedented productivity, but also child labor, unsafe working conditions, and mass displacement until laws caught up. The early internet promised a free flow of information. Yet without regulation, it also gave rise to cybercrime, misinformation, and mass surveillance. Nuclear technology brought energy abundance, and nuclear weapons. History shows us, technology itself is neutral. It is our intentions, our governance, and our collective will that determine whether it becomes a blessing or a curse. AI is unique because it can learn, not just execute instructions, but adapt, evolve, and generate new patterns. That makes it an even more powerful amplifier of both our virtues and our flaws. The missing human-centered narrative. Public discourse about AI today tends to swing between extremes. The utopian view, AI will solve climate change, cure disease, eliminate drudgery, and usher in an age of abundance. The dystopian view, AI will replace all jobs, erode privacy, undermine truth, and possibly outsmart humanity itself. What's missing is the middle ground, a pragmatic, human-centered roadmap. AI isn't magic, nor is it inherently malevolent. But without guidance, it will inherit the inequalities, prejudices, and short-term thinking of its creators. A 2022 Stanford AI Index report found that only 22% of global AI research output comes from projects explicitly designed to address societal challenges like health, poverty, or climate change. This is telling. Despite AI's potential to uplift billions, its most visible applications today are in advertising optimization, content generation, and financial speculation, profitable, but hardly transformative for humanity's deepest needs. Why we chose to write this now. This book is being written at a time when AI's trajectory is still malleable. Within the next decade, we will either embed empathy, equity, and sustainability into AI's DNA, making it a tool that empowers every human life, not just those in privileged circles, or allow it to become a centralized force serving the interests of the few, deepening global divides. We believe the deciding factor will be public understanding and engagement. AI must not be left to technologists, corporations, and policymakers alone. Teachers, farmers, artists, doctors, and everyday citizens must have a say in how this technology shapes their lives. The confluence we envision. The title of this book, Confluence, of AI and Humanity, is deliberate. A confluence is where streams meet, blending currents into something larger than themselves. We envision AI not as a separate force imposed on humanity, but as a current that merges with our own, guided by empathy, ethics, and shared purpose. That means AI in healthcare, enabling faster diagnoses, personalized treatments, and equitable access to medical expertise worldwide. AI in resource distribution, predicting food shortages, optimizing supply chains, and reducing waste to address hunger. AI in climate action, modeling environmental risks and aiding local adaptation strategies. AI for local economies, tailoring business and agriculture strategies to the unique resources of each community. But it also means acknowledging the shadows. The risk of AI-driven misinformation destabilizing democracies. The exploitation of personal data without consent. The reinforcement of systemic biases if algorithms remain unchecked. A meeting of two worlds. One of us approaches this mission from the lens of research, innovation, and technological possibility, the other from human resilience, empathy, and lived experience. We met through the digital corridors of the internet, half a world apart, and discovered that we shared an uncommon belief: AI can be the most powerful humanitarian tool ever built, if humanity has the courage to shape it that way. This book is our attempt to merge those two streams. It will not only tell you what AI can do, but also how it should be used. We will draw from verified research, real-world case studies, and the human stories that numbers alone can't capture. AI's future is being written right now, not in code alone, but in the conversations we choose to have, the principles we choose to uphold, and the courage we choose to show. This is why this book was needed. And this is why you, the reader, are part of the story. Chapter 2: The Urgency of an Ethical AI Revolution. Every great leap forward comes with a shadow. The brighter the light, the darker the outline. A revolution already in motion. It's a curious thing about revolutions: you rarely notice them until you're already living in them. When the printing press was invented, the average citizen didn't think of it as a revolution. It was simply a faster way to copy words. Only decades later did the world understand that those movable metal letters had redrawn the very boundaries of knowledge. We are in that same moment now with artificial intelligence. Unlike the steam engine or electricity, AI doesn't just extend our muscles or illuminate our nights, it learns, adapts, and decides. And it is doing so faster than any technology humanity has ever known. Consider this. Radio took 38 years to reach 50 million users. Television took 13 years. The internet took 4 years. ChatGPT? Just 2 months to cross 100 million. Half of the companies in the world, according to McKinsey's 2023 report, are already using AI in at least one area of their operations. PwC estimates it could add $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030, more than the GDP of the entire European Union. It's no longer a question of whether the AI revolution is coming. It's here. And that is exactly why an ethical AI revolution must follow, immediately. When progress outruns principle, history gives us more than enough warning. The Industrial Revolution brought incredible productivity but also child labor, dangerous factories, and cities choked with smoke. The Digital Revolution connected billions but also opened floodgates to cybercrime, misinformation, and mass surveillance. The lesson is simple: innovation without ethics magnifies harm as much as it multiplies benefit. Already, AI's speed is outpacing our capacity to guide it responsibly. Jobs: the World Economic Forum predicts AI will replace 83 million jobs by 2027, creating only 69 million in their place. That's a net loss of 14 million livelihoods, and a reshuffling of entire industries. Bias: algorithms learn from data, and if that data is biased, so is the decision-making. From hiring software that favors certain genders or ethnicities, to facial recognition that misidentifies darker-skinned individuals, the harm is tangible. Truth: deepfakes and AI-generated misinformation now make it possible to fabricate reality with frightening precision. What happens when no one can agree on what's real? Privacy: personal data, the new currency of the digital age, is being harvested in ways most of us can't see or stop. Environment: training just one large AI model can generate as much CO2 as 5 cars over their lifetime. We cannot afford for intelligence to come at the expense of the planet that sustains it. These are not side effects, they are the direct consequences of running ahead without looking back. The first flickers of an ethical awakening. Thankfully, the world is beginning to stir. In 2024, over 50 countries signed the Council of Europe's AI Convention, committing to AI systems that respect human rights, democracy, transparency, and accountability. The UN's high-level advisory body on AI has called for shared global values, justice, inclusiveness, cooperation, to guide AI's path. In March 2024, the UN passed a resolution declaring AI must be safe, secure, and trustworthy, grounded in human rights. At the AI Action Summit, leaders from 58 countries pledged to keep AI accessible, sustainable, and free from concentration in the hands of a few. And it's not just governments. Corporations, too, are feeling the pressure. Microsoft now audits its facial recognition tools for bias. Apple uses differential privacy to protect user data. Google experiments with federated learning to process data without centralizing it. The message is clear: ethics isn't a nice-to-have anymore, it's survival for the technology itself. What ethical AI looks like in practice. Imagine an AI system built not just to work, but to work fairly. Hiring platforms like Pymetrics anonymize applicant data to remove unconscious bias. Loan platforms like Lendable explain, in plain language, why a customer was accepted or rejected. In healthcare, AI systems are being trained with diverse datasets to prevent misdiagnoses in underrepresented populations. In energy, companies like Comfy and Bijli use AI to optimize building systems and reduce emissions, proving intelligence can go hand in hand with sustainability. The blueprint is there: fairness, transparency, accountability, privacy, safety, and sustainability. What's missing is the universal will to make it standard. The tension between innovation and restraint. Every revolution has its tug-of-war. Some argue regulation will stifle AI's potential. Others warn that without it, the technology will run unchecked into dangerous territory. The truth is, we don't have the luxury of choosing between progress and principle. We must pursue both. And we must do it fast. Mo Gaudat, former chief business officer of Google X, has warned of a potential 15-year hell beginning in 2027 if AI-driven job displacement, economic inequality, and social unrest are left unchecked. History's lesson is that we can either shape technology, or be shaped by it. And the latter rarely ends well. Why an ethical AI revolution must happen now? The AI revolution is inevitable. The ethical AI revolution is a choice. And the window to make that choice is shrinking. We need laws that enshrine fairness, privacy, and transparency, not as ideals, but as requirements. Corporations that see ethical design as strategic advantage, not compliance hassle. Public understanding so that citizens everywhere, farmers, teachers, artists, can have a voice in shaping AI that touches their lives. Without this, AI risks becoming the next great divider, between nations, between classes, between the empowered and the powerless. With it, AI could become the most powerful equalizer humanity has ever known. The road ahead. The ethical AI revolution will not be written by engineers alone. It will be written by all of us, activists, policymakers, business leaders, students, and citizens. Each insisting that the intelligence we create reflects the humanity we cherish. Because in the end, AI is not just about algorithms. It's about who we are and who we want to become. And the time to decide that, is now. Chapter 3, Stories from the AI Frontier. The same river that nurtures can also flood. The same tool that heals can also harm. In the last chapter, we explored why ethics must walk side by side with AI's progress. Now, let us look at the stories, the lived realities, where AI has been both the hero and the villain. Because the real measure of a technology is not in what it promises, but in what it delivers when the stakes are human lives. The healer. In 2022, a 7-year-old girl in rural India was brought to a small clinic with symptoms no local doctor could decode. Her parents were farmers, their entire life savings already stretched thin. The clinic had no specialist, no advanced lab. What it did have was an AI-powered diagnostic tool developed for underserved regions. Within minutes, the system analyzed her symptoms, cross-referenced them with global medical databases, and suggested a rare metabolic disorder that required urgent treatment. The recommendation was confirmed by a specialist hundreds of kilometers away. The girl's life was saved. This is AI at its most noble, closing the gap between rural and urban healthcare, between privilege and poverty. It's why the World Health Organization is piloting AI diagnostic systems in low-resource areas. But the story could just as easily have gone the other way. The betrayer. That same year, across the globe in the United States, a major hospital's AI-assisted diagnostic system was found to be less accurate for black patients than for white patients, because the dataset it was trained on underrepresented black communities. This wasn't malice. It was mathematics, fed with biased data. But for the patients misdiagnosed or underprioritized, the impact was the same as if it were deliberate. A Harvard study later found that algorithmic bias in healthcare could contribute to thousands of preventable deaths each year if left unaddressed. AI and the Forest Guardian. In the Amazon rainforest, a startup called Rainforest Connection uses solar-powered listening devices to detect illegal logging. AI processes the audio in real time, identifying the whine of chainsaws amid the jungle's symphony of insects and birds. Local rangers can respond within minutes, sometimes preventing destruction before it starts. This isn't a tech giant's PR stunt. It's the work of small teams with a big vision, showing that AI can be the planet's eyes and ears. AI and the digital flood. Yet, in the same year, a deepfake video surfaced in which a South American environmental activist appeared to confess to taking bribes. It was entirely fabricated, but spread faster than the truth could catch up. By the time forensic analysts proved it was fake, the activist's reputation, and funding for her projects, had suffered irreparable damage. Here, AI didn't need chainsaws to destroy. It just needed a lie. Farming the future. In Kenya, farmers now receive personalized planting advice from AI-driven apps that factor in local soil data, rainfall predictions, and pest threats. Crop yields have risen by as much as 30% for some communities. The AI doesn't just give generic advice, it learns from each farm's history. Compare that to the United States, where a major agricultural analytics company was found collecting vast amounts of farm data without farmers' informed consent. Later selling aggregated insights to agribusiness giants. Small farmers unknowingly handed over their competitive advantage. The ethical divide. These stories aren't random, they're patterns. For every story of AI as a savior, there's another where it becomes an uninvited intruder. The difference isn't in the technology itself, it's in the intent, design, and governance behind it. AI can protect forests or erode trust, save lives or quietly perpetuate harm, empower small farmers or hand control to corporate monopolies. The deciding factor is whether ethics are woven into the fabric from day one, or patched on after the damage is done. What the stories teach us. If these case studies reveal anything, it's that the ethical AI revolution we spoke of in the last chapter is not a philosophical luxury. It's a lifeline. From these stories, 3 principles emerge. Representation matters. AI must be trained on diverse datasets or it will fail the very people it claims to serve. Transparency is non-negotiable. When people understand how an AI makes decisions, trust follows. When they don't, suspicion thrives. Consent is power. People must know when their data is being used, how, and for whose benefit. Chapter 4, 2 Paths. 1 Vision. When 2 streams converge, they create a current stronger than either could alone. The unlikely crossing of paths. In many ways, the story of this book began not in a boardroom or a research lab, but in the quiet hum of the internet, the modern town square where voices from different worlds can meet. On one side was Jaideep Parashar, a researcher, entrepreneur, and strategist who had spent nearly 2 decades studying business ecosystems and the transformative role of artificial intelligence. His journey was marked by discipline, resilience, and curiosity. From overcoming health struggles with the spirit of a taekwondo fighter, to leaving the security of a prestigious government career to pursue the uncertain but boundless horizon of innovation. On the other side was Elaine Lloyd, a humanitarian, mother, and creative soul who had walked through the valley of personal loss and emerged with a deep commitment to helping others heal. Her world was one of empathy, spirituality, and compassion. From crafting healing cushions to writing memoirs and songs in memory of her late husband Neil, Elaine transformed pain into purpose. 2 paths, vastly different in their origin, converged in a shared vision, to ensure that technology, especially AI, never loses sight of humanity. The spark of a shared idea. Our first conversations were tentative, curious, and exploratory. But soon, a powerful theme emerged, though our languages were different. Jaideep's rooted in data and research, Elaine's in compassion and human connection, we were both asking the same question. How can AI be guided to build a future worth living in? Jaideep brought to the table insights from the world of innovation and global business. AI is expected to contribute $15.7 trillion to the world economy by 2030, PwC. Healthcare AI could save $150 billion annually in the United States alone through improved diagnostics and operational efficiencies, Accenture. In agriculture, AI has already improved yields by up to 30% in regions where data-driven planting models are used. Elaine reminded us that numbers alone cannot define success. What good is an economy that grows, if it leaves millions behind in displacement and despair? What is the value of medical breakthroughs if the poor cannot access them? What is the worth of innovation if it undermines human dignity, or weakens the bonds of trust in our communities? Where Jaideep saw the macro potential of systems, Elaine saw the micro impact on souls. Together, a picture began to form. Excerpts from the initial conversation. Jaideep, AI can already predict market movements, optimize logistics, and accelerate research. But the real question isn't what can AI do? The question is what should AI do? Elaine, exactly. If we let profit alone decide, AI will chase wealth, not well-being. But if we guide it with compassion, it can feed the hungry, heal the sick, and restore dignity. That's the future I believe in. Jaideep, the numbers are staggering. AI could add nearly $16 trillion to the global economy by 2030. But without ethical guardrails, it could also strip millions of their livelihoods. Elaine, which is why the ethics aren't a side note. They're the headline. Technology should never get to decide who is left behind. Humanity must make that choice. Elaine. Jaideep, you see patterns in data like I see patterns in emotions. You talk about algorithms, I talk about people, but somehow, it feels like we're describing the same picture. Jaideep, that's because both matter. Without empathy, AI is cold efficiency. Without intelligence, empathy alone cannot scale. Together, they can change the world. Elaine, people need to hear that AI is not just about machines, but about choices, human choices. And they'll listen more if we tell them both sides. The analytical and the compassionate. Jaideep, yes. Alone, I might speak too much in data. Alone, you might sound too much in heart. Together, we can tell the whole story. Elaine, imagine a world where a child in a remote village has an AI tutor as good as the best teacher in London. That's the kind of equality I dream of. Jaideep, and imagine AI predicting local crop failures before they happen, so no community ever faces famine again. That's the kind of innovation I want to build. Elaine, then we're dreaming the same dream. Just in different languages. Elaine, smiling, two paths, one vision. A conversation that became a mission. One evening, in a video call that stretched far longer than either of us had planned, the conversation turned from ideas to purpose. Jaideep said, AI can analyze the world's problems faster than we can blink. But it cannot tell us what should be solved first, that's a human choice. Elaine replied, and that's why people like us must step in, not to control it, but to guide it. To remind the world that empathy is not optional. That was the moment the idea crystallized, confluence, of AI and humanity. A book, yes, but more than that, a manifesto of sorts. A shared journey. A roadmap where data and compassion would flow together, showing that the true promise of AI lies not in cold efficiency, but in warm humanity amplified by intelligence. Complementary strengths, one goal. If Jaideep represents the mind, Elaine represents the heart. Jaideep's intellectual prowess spans across vivid business verticals, strategy, research, investment, and innovation. His lens is analytical, his approach methodical. He sees patterns in chaos and structures in uncertainty. Elaine is a true altruist. Her motto is simple yet profound, make the world a better place. She embodies empathy, weaving her life's experiences into guidance for others. Her vision is utopian not because it is naive, but because it is rooted in hope, and hope is the most practical form of resilience. Together, we realized something extraordinary: the future doesn't need just coders or just caregivers, it needs both. Two sides of the same coin. AI by itself is like raw electricity. It can light up a home or burn it down. The humanitarian touch ensures that power flows into the right circuits. Jaideep often likens AI to an ecosystem of tools waiting for direction. Imagine if we could deploy AI not to optimize ads or stock trades, but to solve water scarcity in sub-Saharan Africa, or to give every child in a village access to a personal AI tutor. Elaine counters with the human lens, and imagine if those solutions were designed not only for efficiency, but for dignity, so that every person feels seen, heard, and valued, not just measured. That is our shared idea, a better future where technology amplifies humanity rather than replacing it. The vision we share. So what does this vision look like in practice? It is a world where healthcare is personalized and universal, AI helps detect diseases early, but access to treatment is not determined by wealth. Education is democratized, an AI tutor adapts to every child's pace, whether in London or in a remote Himalayan village. Resources are distributed fairly. AI-powered systems predict shortages, optimize supply chains, and ensure that food, water, and energy reach those who need them most. Truth is protected, deepfake detectors and fact-checking algorithms defend against misinformation, preserving trust in what is real. Work evolves, not vanishes. As AI automates routine tasks, humans are free to create, empathize, and innovate, roles that only the human spirit can fill. This is not utopia for the sake of fantasy. It is grounded in facts, driven by research, and powered by compassion. One vision, a shared responsibility. We come from different paths, yet we now walk one. What began as a connection across continents has become a mission, to show that the confluence of AI and humanity is not a dream, but a choice. And it is a choice that belongs not just to governments or corporations, but to all of us. As you turn these pages, you will not just read about algorithms or policies. You will read about lives. Your life included, that stand to be touched by AI. For in the end, our vision is not complicated. It is simply this. A future where intelligence is ethical, opportunity is shared, and humanity is never lost in the pursuit of progress. Part 2, The Promise of AI for Humanity. Chapter 5, AI Beyond Speed and Automation. The real story of AI is not how fast it works, but how deeply it can reshape what it means to work, to learn, and to live. The mirage of speed. For many people, the story of AI begins in 2022, with the sudden explosion of generative AI tools like ChatGPT, Midjourney, and Stable Diffusion. Overnight, tasks that once took hours, writing code, drafting documents, designing visuals, could be done in minutes. The headlines were breathless: AI will take your job, machines are smarter than humans now, and as if, the world will never be the same again. And while there is truth in the awe, there is also a distortion. Because AI did not begin with ChatGPT, and it certainly does not end with fast typing and instant artwork. In fact, AI has been quietly shaping our world for decades. When Netflix recommends your next favorite show, that's AI. When Google Maps reroutes you to avoid traffic, that's AI. When banks detect fraudulent activity on your card within seconds, that's AI. But because generative AI touched our everyday lives so directly, and so visibly, it became the lightning rod for both excitement and fear. The fear factor. Why the fear? Because speed and automation are visible, and disruptive. A McKinsey survey, 2023, found that 40% of workers globally fear their jobs could be replaced by AI. Goldman Sachs estimated that 300 million jobs worldwide could be affected by generative AI alone, particularly in sectors like customer service, administration, and creative industries. In one viral example, ChatGPT passed parts of a U.S. medical licensing exam, sparking alarm among professionals who had spent years studying. The fear is understandable. When a tool suddenly does in seconds what you trained for years to master, the instinct is to see it as a competitor. But history shows us otherwise. History's refrain: tools are partners, not enemies. When the steam engine arrived, farmers feared mass unemployment. Instead, it birthed whole new industries. When electricity spread, candle makers resisted. Yet electricity gave us factories, telecommunications, and eventually the digital age. When computers entered offices, clerks feared redundancy. Yet computers became indispensable collaborators. And perhaps the most striking parallel: nuclear energy. It can power cities or destroy them. The technology itself is neutral, it is our choices that define its impact. AI sits in that same paradox. It is neither angel nor demon. It is a partner waiting to be defined. Beyond the stereotypes, AI as a life partner. To reduce AI to speed or automation is like reducing electricity to faster candles. It misses the point entirely. Here's what AI really represents when viewed beyond the stereotypes. 1. The amplifier of human potential. In medicine, AI isn't just faster, it's more accurate. AI tools like DeepMind's AlphaFold solved the protein folding puzzle that had stumped scientists for 50 years, opening new doors to drug discovery. In education, AI tutors adapt to each child's learning style, pace, and strengths. A rural child in India can access the same quality of guidance as a child in Silicon Valley. 2. The equalizer of opportunity. Farmers in Kenya now use AI-driven apps for crop planning. The results? 30% yield increases in some cases. Life-changing for families who once relied on guesswork. AI-powered sign language translators are giving hearing-impaired individuals real-time communication tools, breaking barriers of isolation. 3. The guardian of resources. AI helps predict natural disasters, optimize energy grids, and reduce food waste. According to the UN, AI could reduce global food waste by up to 20%, feeding millions more. In climate science, AI simulations model weather patterns with unprecedented accuracy, helping governments prepare for hurricanes, floods, and droughts. 4. The innovator of new work. Yes, some jobs will vanish. But many will transform. And new ones will emerge. Consider this, in the early 2000s, there was no such role as social media manager. Today, it's a multi-billion-dollar career field. Similarly, AI will birth jobs in fields we cannot yet name. AI ethicists, digital twin designers, neurotechnology integrators. Real-world stories of partnership. The blind photographer. A visually impaired artist in London now uses an AI tool that describes his environment in real time, allowing him to compose photographs he could not otherwise see. AI didn't replace his creativity, it expanded it. The village teacher. In rural Africa, a single teacher was responsible for over 100 children. With an AI-powered education app, the teacher could provide personalized exercises for each student. The result? Literacy rates in that community doubled within 2 years. The factory worker. In Germany, AI-powered exoskeletons now help aging factory workers lift heavy loads without injury. Instead of replacing them, the machines extended their careers and dignity. Each of these stories reflects the same truth: AI is not here to erase us, but to extend us. The dangers of a narrow lens. And yet, if we only see AI through the lens of speed, we risk missing its deeper promise. Worse, we risk shaping it into a blunt instrument that chases efficiency at the cost of humanity. Already, we see the dangers. Deepfake misinformation threatening democracies. AI-driven trading systems causing flash crashes in financial markets. Over-reliance on generative AI leading to plagiarism, misinformation, and shallow creativity. Speed without ethics is recklessness. Automation without empathy is exploitation. That is why, as we argued in the last chapter, the ethical AI revolution is not optional, it is the only way forward. Reframing AI, from tool to partner. So how should we see AI? Not as a competitor. Not as a mere tool. But as a partner, a companion intelligence designed to augment, not diminish, our humanity. Think of it like this. To a doctor, AI can be a second pair of eyes. To a farmer, a predictive weather sage. To a teacher, a tireless assistant. To a policymaker, a data-informed advisor. And to humanity at large, AI can be the bridge that turns impossible dreams, ending hunger, curing rare diseases, reversing climate collapse, into achievable realities. A boon, if we choose it. The coal furnace once powered industries that lifted millions from poverty. Nuclear power once promised cities of endless light. Both came with risks, but both reshaped civilization. AI is our era's equivalent. Used recklessly, it can deepen inequality and destabilize truth. Used wisely, it is nothing less than a boon to humankind. But to unlock that boon, we must first change how we see it. Not as a sprinter in the race for speed, but as a companion in the marathon of progress. Special note by Jaideep. What is left for us? We live in a time where artificial intelligence can draft contracts, analyze data, diagnose illnesses, compose music, and even help write books like this one. The question then naturally arises, if AI can do so much, what is left for humans? For me, the answer is clear. What remains, what will always remain, is the human capacity to think with clarity and purpose. When I reflect on my own journey, I realize that the skill I return to again and again is not coding, not analytics, not even my years of research. It is the ability to stay calm, to pause before reacting, and to look at the bigger picture with a clear mind. And, for this I maintain multiple journals to note down pointers, ideas, new products, and the strategies for them. Howsoever busy the life gets, I always wake up at 4 a.m. sharp, irrespective of the time I went to sleep. This gives me an extra edge over the others and also allows me with ample time to brainstorm and execute better. Also, I get enough time to stay in the lap of nature and meditate calmly. This seemingly small step has so many benefits that one can have a completely different book on the topic. Remember, those who went into the lap of nature never returned empty-handed. Apart from this, I work out twice a day. This is the most productive time of me, as most of the ideas that erupt in mind are during this period only. So, the best advantage out of this combination of exercising and meditating in lap of nature is having a sense of calmness, which leads to clarity in thoughts. This leads to better ideas while keeping mind and body both fit. Furthermore, AI can suggest 1,000 directions. But deciding which road to take, that is human work. In business, for instance, the temptation is often to chase trends. AI will surface countless insights about what is happening right now. But the human gift is to anticipate where the market is going, to imagine not just the next quarter, but the next decade. That kind of foresight cannot be automated. The second gift we must protect is creativity in problem solving. AI can generate options, but it takes a human mind to connect them to context, culture, and conscience. It is the brainstorming process, the messy, intuitive, playful act of creation, that defines us. So what is left for humans? In a word, clarity. The clarity to decide, the calm to reflect, and the creativity to act. AI can be the world's most powerful assistant. But the direction, the vision, still comes from us. And perhaps in a noisy, automated world, clarity of thought will be the rarest and most valuable human currency. Looking ahead. As we move deeper into this book, we will challenge stereotypes, confront fears, and reframe narratives. Because the question isn't whether AI will shape our future, it already is. The real question is, will we embrace it as a partner, or fear it as a rival? The answer lies in how boldly we move beyond speed and automation, and into the heart of what it means to be human with machines by our side. Chapter 6, Better Healings with Algorithms. Medicine has long been the art of uncertain science. Now, AI is beginning to turn uncertainty into insight. When most people think of artificial intelligence, they picture machines spitting out text, images, or code at lightning speed. But to see AI only through that narrow lens is to miss its most profound promise. Nowhere is that promise more visible than in medicine. Healthcare has always been a field where lives hang in the balance, where the difference between early detection and delayed treatment can be measured in heartbeats. For centuries, medicine has advanced incrementally, one discovery, one vaccine, one diagnostic tool at a time. Yet uncertainty has always remained. Diagnoses were sometimes guesses, treatments were often generalized, and mistakes were tragically common. AI is beginning to change that. Not by replacing doctors or nurses, but by becoming their partner in healing, an ever-watchful ally that reduces guesswork, amplifies precision, and brings care to places and people long left behind. The algorithm that listens to your heart. Consider something as simple as a stethoscope. For 200 years, it has been a doctor's iconic tool. A metal disc, a rubber tube, and a trained ear. But in 2023, researchers in the UK tested an AI-powered stethoscope the size of a playing card. Instead of relying on human ears, it used algorithms trained on thousands of heart sounds. In just 15 seconds, it could detect valve disease, heart failure, or atrial fibrillation, conditions often missed in routine exams, with 2 to 3 times the accuracy of traditional methods. Over 13,000 patients in NHS clinics were screened in this way, and lives were saved that might otherwise have slipped through the cracks. What once required a cardiologist in a city hospital can now be done in a rural clinic with a handheld device. That is not just efficiency, it is transformation. Half a world away, in Hyderabad, a team of ophthalmologists tested an AI tool for glaucoma. Using nothing more than a smartphone camera, the AI analyzed retinal images with 92% accuracy, detecting early signs of blindness causing disease. For rural populations without access to specialists, this was revolutionary. This is the quiet revolution already underway, AI shrinking the gap between urban and rural, rich and poor, by putting world-class diagnostics in the hands of frontline workers. Drug discovery at digital speed. But diagnosis is only the beginning. Developing new medicines has always been a painfully slow process. From identifying a promising molecule to bringing a drug to market, the timeline can stretch over a decade and cost billions. Now AI is collapsing that timeline. At MIT's Jameel Clinic, researchers used deep learning to identify new antibiotic compounds against drug-resistant bacteria in a matter of weeks. One AI-discovered compound, halicin, showed effectiveness against pathogens that had stymied researchers for decades. Startups like In Silico Medicine are pushing even further, using AI not only to design molecules, but also to predict how they will behave in the human body. In one case, AI identified a potential treatment for fibrosis in less than a year, a process that would normally take 4 to 5 years. This is not hype. It is happening now. AI is becoming the microscope of the molecular world, seeing what human eyes and intuition could not. Relieving the healers. If AI can ease patient suffering, it can also ease doctor fatigue. Ask any physician about paperwork, and you will hear the same lament: I spend more time typing than treating. Studies suggest doctors can spend up to half their day on clerical tasks, clinical notes, insurance claims, documentation. AI scribes are changing that. In the UK, one of the largest rollouts of ambient AI assistants showed striking results. 4 in 5 GPs said the system improved their patient interactions and reduced stress. These tools listen quietly in the background, transcribe the conversation, and generate clean medical notes. Instead of staring at a screen, the doctor looks into the patient's eyes again. In Kenya, AI co-pilots deployed in clinics acted as a silent second opinion. When a clinician entered a diagnosis, the AI would flag potential mismatches or suggest alternatives. The results? A 16% reduction in diagnostic errors and 13% fewer treatment mistakes. Doctors described it as a colleague who never tires. In a world where burnout is driving physicians out of the profession, these small gains in time, focus, and accuracy add up to something invaluable: restored humanity in care. Machines that see what we miss. Imaging is another frontier where algorithms shine. Radiologists pore over hundreds of CT scans and MRIs daily, their eyes trained but humanly fallible. AI systems like ADOC and Zebra Medical Vision now analyze these scans in real time, flagging hemorrhages, fractures, and tumors. Frost and Sullivan estimates that such tools could prevent 2.5 million diagnostic errors every year worldwide. Then there are wearables. Smartwatches, fitness bands, and medical sensors no longer just count steps, they continuously monitor heart rhythms, oxygen levels, even subtle tremors. Coupled with anomaly-detecting AI, they can warn of crises days or weeks before they strike. Imagine a grandmother alerted to an impending heart failure before symptoms appear, or a diabetic warned of dangerous fluctuations hours in advance. This is healthcare moving from reactive to proactive. Personalized medicine, healing the individual, not the average. For decades, treatments have been based on averages. If a drug works for most, it is prescribed to all. But we are not averages. We are unique combinations of genes, histories, and habits. AI is making medicine personal. By analyzing genetic profiles alongside clinical data, systems like IBM Watson Health can recommend cancer therapies tailored to each patient. Clinical trials, once blunt instruments, are being refined by AI models that match patients to studies with surgical precision, cutting costs and raising success rates. This is the dawn of precision medicine. Where one size fits all finally gives way to one size fits one. Care without borders. Perhaps the most radical promise of AI in healthcare is its ability to leap across geography. Remote monitoring platforms now connect patients in rural Africa or South Asia to specialists continents away. Wearable sensors paired with AI provide real-time data to clinicians, ensuring continuous care without hospital walls. For aging populations, this means more dignified living. Independence sustained with invisible safety nets. For underserved communities, it means the chance at care once reserved for wealthy cities. AI doesn't just scale knowledge. It democratizes it. A glimpse of medical superintelligence. And then there are glimpses of what may come. Microsoft recently tested a system called MAIDXO, a medical orchestrator that assembled multiple AI agents to reason through complex cases. Given challenging cases from the New England Journal of Medicine, it outperformed human doctors, achieving 85.5% accuracy, compared to less than 20% for physicians without AI assistance. It is early, experimental, imperfect. But it hints at a future where AI doesn't just support doctors, it helps them solve mysteries of medicine once thought unsolvable. The human in the loop. Of course, with great power comes great responsibility. The Lancet recently warned that over-reliance on AI could erode clinical intuition. If doctors stop questioning algorithms, they risk losing the very judgment that makes them healers. That is why ethicists and medical boards are insisting on guardrails, transparency, accountability, human-in-the-loop systems. In Canada, medical schools are now teaching residents not just anatomy and physiology, but also how to work with AI responsibly. In the U.S., the American Medical Association is drafting protocols to ensure AI augments, not overrides, physician authority. Because no matter how sophisticated the algorithm, healing remains a profoundly human act. Toward a stress-free world of care. Imagine a world a decade from now. A child in a remote Himalayan village receives the same quality of diagnostic care as one in London. Doctors spend more time holding hands than holding pens. Patients no longer fear late diagnoses, because AI whispers the warning signs early. Clinical errors drop dramatically, not because doctors are perfect, but because algorithms catch the slips before they become tragedies. That is not science fiction. It is a direction we are already walking. The algorithm as a healer. In the end, AI in healthcare is not about machines replacing people. It is about machines helping people heal better, faster, fairer. It is about algorithms taking over the repetitive, the exhausting, the overwhelming, so that humans can focus on the human. Yes, there are risks. Bias, privacy, overdependence. But there is also immense promise. Fewer misdiagnoses, faster cures, personalized treatments, and care for those who have never had access before. If we choose wisely, the future is not just healthier. It is more humane. Because the story of AI in medicine is not just about better technology. It is about better healing. Made possible by algorithms, but powered by empathy. Chapter 7: Equalizing Opportunities. AI should not be a privilege. It must become a universal right. When artificial intelligence is confined to boardrooms and high-tech enclaves, it widens the gap. But when AI is made accessible, affordable, and accountable, when its tools are put in the hands of teachers, farmers, health workers, and students everywhere, it becomes the greatest equalizer humanity has ever built. This chapter is our exploration of how democratizing AI, making it available to all, is not just an abstract ideal, but a strategic necessity. It aligns with Rethynk AI's core mission, the 3 As of artificial intelligence: accessible, affordable, and available, work still freely shared via academia, serving as a blueprint for empowering entire communities. When AI leaps past the divide. Imagine a world where a child in a remote Himalayan village has access to an AI tutor with the same capabilities as one in Silicon Valley. In low-income countries, teacher shortages are severe. Up to 58 million more teachers are needed simply to meet class size norms, which means AI could fill critical gaps. UNESCO and World Bank assessments show that generative AI can support learning in local languages, customize lesson plans, and assist educators, even where the internet is slow or intermittent. In Sierra Leone, researchers piloted an AI chatbot in classrooms accessible via simple messaging apps. They found that responses consumed 87% less data than web searches, were rated more relevant by teachers, and dramatically lower data costs per query. For communities where data and connectivity are obstacles, these findings suggest AI may leapfrog traditional access models. That's the edge of what we call equalizing opportunities, where AI bridges the digital, educational, and economic divides. The 3 E's of AI, Jaideep and Rethynk AI's free foundational vision. At Rethynk AI, we believe in democratizing AI through principles we outlined in our open access paper: accessible, affordable, and available. Accessible: anyone, in any place, language, or community, should be able to interact with AI in meaningful ways. Affordable: cost must not be a barrier. Tools like open-source platforms, subsidized training, and lightweight apps empower low-income users. Available: whether online or offline, AI must function wherever people are. Onshore islands, rural clinics, village schools. We are not alone in this mission. UNESCO has called global attention to the risk of an AI literacy divide, and urged inclusive design so that no student or community is excluded. The UN's proposed AI Development Fund envisions distributing compute power and education tools to developing countries. Learning without limits. In India, open-source initiatives are already making strides. For example, Education Above All's free tool Furby, developed with MIT, Harvard, and UNDP, curates local learning materials and scales across millions of children in India via platforms like SwiftChat. This AI chatbot offers access even in areas where standard internet tools fail. Similarly, MIT's RAISE initiative, led by Cynthia Brazil, has pioneered K-12 AI curricula under the theme AI literacy is for everyone. Their program Day of AI and Futuremakers teach children to both create with and critically engage with AI, regardless of background. Yet progress isn't automatic. A paper in Sustainability warns bluntly, artificial intelligence alone will not democratize education. Without infrastructure, teacher training, and curriculum design that confront bias, AI may entrench rather than erase inequality. Equity, not just access. If AI is democratized in form but not in fairness, it risks reinforcing old divides. A Stanford case study found that even seemingly equal tools may benefit first-generation or privileged students more, unless usage, training, and institutional support are built to counteract that bias. Another global review highlights 3 reasons AI may widen inequality: skewed access, digital infrastructure gaps, and the compute divide. Where powerful models are available only to wealthy nations or elite research universities. That's why equalizing opportunity must go deeper than hardware. It must include literacy, representation, policy, and governance. Bridging the divide with global initiatives. The Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, GPAI, was formed in 2020 to promote inclusive AI development across governments, academia, and civil society. It now stewards global research and ethical frameworks that support AI access in lower-income countries. India, as one of the GPAI chairs, leads by example. In April 2025, India launched its India AI mission with major investments to build sovereign AI models, data portals, AI Kosha, and training initiatives via India AI Future Skills. In partnership with OpenAI, it launched OpenAI Academy, offering free Gen AI modules in Hindi, English, and 4 regional languages. Empowering 50 startups and 1 million teachers in rural and urban India alike. These measures show what national commitment to democratization looks like. Nonprofit action at scale. In education and development, nonprofit organizations continue to lead democratic innovation. Education Above All and partners serve over 5 million students in India with customized learning tools. Global NGOs like Mercy Corps and the World Institute on Disability use AI for disaster response and assistance matching, empowering communities to act faster and more wisely. Together, these initiatives show that democratization isn't theoretical, it's actively reshaping lives. When AI democratizes knowledge, not privilege. For AI to truly equalize opportunities, it must democratize not just tools, but knowledge, creativity, and decision-making. Open-source platforms like H2O. AI's driverless AI lower barriers, allowing small teams and underfunded researchers to build powerful models. Local research labs, such as Wadhwani AI in India, partner with universities to develop AI tailored to local needs, empowering local innovators. These efforts counter the compute divide and shift knowledge creation power back to global communities. Challenges we must address. Even with all this progress, following challenges loom. Digital infrastructure remains patchy in many regions. Privacy and bias in AI systems risk excluding or misrepresenting whole populations. AI literacy is lagging. Some countries report widespread skepticism among parents about data usage and ethics. Global policy action, curriculum reforms, and ethics-centered design become as essential as software and hardware. Rethink's role, and the call ahead. At Rethynk AI, we see democratization as a movement, not just deployment. We support grassroots AI literacy, affordable tools, and bottom-up design that respects local customs and languages. Our 3As model isn't just theory, it's a humanitarian demand. But strategy must be collective. Governments must subsidize AI education, uphold digital rights, and invest in access infrastructure. Schools must integrate AI into learning in an ethical, equitable way. Communities must be heard in AI governance conversations, and their languages and cultures deeply considered. Because equalizing opportunities means not leaving anyone behind, not just digitally, but socially and structurally. The promise of a democratized AI future. Imagine what's possible. A school without teachers uses AI tutors to customize learning. Farmers in remote Africa harness localized AI to optimize harvests. Health workers diagnose disease faster from remote outposts. Anyone, anywhere, can ask questions of AI. Because barriers of cost, language, and infrastructure have been dismantled. This is the promise of bridging education, resource, and opportunity gaps with AI democratized for all. Building systems for sustainable success. Democratizing AI is not only about making tools available, it is about building systems, structured workflows that people can adopt, adapt, and scale as needed. Tools without systems are like raw bricks without an architectural plan. They have potential, but without clarity in design, they cannot build lasting structures. The first step in this process is not technical but human, a quality thinking session. Before deploying AI, individuals, organizations, and communities must ask, what are we really trying to achieve? How will this solution grow with us? How can it empower others beyond us? Only with clarity in thought can we design systems that are scalable, sustainable, and truly democratized. I often reflect on my own journey. My success did not come from chasing one-off opportunities, but from developing robust systems that could function independently of me. Over the years, I kept enhancing the service spectrum, diversifying into multiple ventures, and refining processes until they became self-sustaining. One powerful outcome of this systems-first approach was the compilation of a comprehensive prompt use case compendium. A structured collection of 25,000 AI prompts covering nearly every field of work. I did not build this resource as a novelty, I built it as a system that anyone could adopt and scale. Today, people from the United States, Europe, and many other parts of the world use these prompts to automate tasks, optimize workflows, and unlock creativity. What once was my personal library of tools is now a global public asset, enabling individuals and organizations to harness AI without starting from scratch. This is the essence of equalizing opportunities. AI should not be a privilege reserved for experts or corporations, it should be a systematic framework that empowers everyone, students, small business owners, farmers, creators, to solve problems at scale. In the end, clarity of thought is the foundation, and system design is the bridge. AI provides the bricks and mortar, but it is human creativity and discipline that arrange them into structures that last. Sustainable success in the age of AI will not come from scattered experiments, but from robust systems that can grow, replicate, and democratize opportunity for all. From access to agency. But access alone is not power. True democratization is about agency, the ability to shape, question, govern, and benefit from AI. That is the heart of Confluence, not just that AI reaches everyone, but that everyone participates in its creation and use. As you continue beyond this chapter, you will see cases where democratized AI transformed communities, not merely by providing tools, but by inspiring ownership, creativity, and hope. Because technology guided by human values is not just accessible, but emancipating. Chapter 8, AI for Planet. AI is not just computing. It can be nature's quiet steward, helping us feed our planet, heal our land, and conserve our future. The climate moment we face. Our planet is under stress. Agriculture alone contributes 20 to 25% of global greenhouse gas emissions, with methane from livestock, carbon from deforestation, and nitrous oxide from fertilizers driving the crisis. Simultaneously, food security is threatened. Climate shocks could slash crop yields by 30% by 2050 in many regions, IPCC, 2023, FAO, 2024. Today, AI offers not just potential, but proven tools to transform our response to climate risk. Farm by farm, precision agriculture's promise. On a remote farm in Kenya, farmers armed with AI-powered mobile apps tripled their coffee yields. Tools like Virtual Agronomist and Plant Village analyze soil, forecast pest threats, and advise optimal fertilizer usage, minimizing waste and maximizing yield, Gyre, 2024. Precision agriculture is no longer experimental. By 2025, it is cutting water usage by up to 30% while maintaining crop yields, and increasing farmer profits by nearly 49% over traditional methods, McKinsey, 2024. Drone and satellite imagery combined with machine learning help farmers irrigate with pinpoint accuracy, apply nutrients only where needed, and predict disease outbreaks early, NASA, 2023. One particularly inspiring success came from Pinduoduo's International Smart Agriculture Competition, where AI-guided greenhouse methods boosted strawberry output by 196%, with 75% higher cost-effectiveness than traditional farms, Pinduoduo, 2023. Reinventing food systems. AI's climate role extends beyond fields. New systems in livestock management optimize feed, improve digestion to reduce methane emissions, and monitor animal health to cut waste. Research initiatives like Cornell's AI4S use data to decarbonize dairy and beef sectors, Cornell University, 2024. In aquaculture, AI platforms such as Ace Aquatech optimize fish farm conditions, reduce mortality, and lower environmental impact. Food waste is also a focus. Companies like Winnow and producers direct use AI to identify wasted food early and guide interventions, Winnow, 2024. McKinsey estimates that combined efforts across food, mobility, and energy could cut up to 7 GT CO2e per year by 2030, McKinsey, 2023. Smart energy, smart planet. Beyond agriculture, AI optimizes energy systems. Utilities in the U.S. now use AI to forecast demand, predict transformer failures, and reduce outages, avoiding potential annual losses up to $150 billion, DOE, 2023. Companies like Shell and SSE use AI to detect methane leaks, improve grid scheduling, and integrate renewable sources, Shell, 2024. Research shows AI can reduce energy waste in industry by optimizing building usage. Verdigris Technologies, for instance, analyzes electrical panels to save energy across major commercial clients, Verdigris, 2024. New architectures like AI4EF support energy-efficient retrofits using simulation and predictive analytics, IEA, 2024. From waste to resource. Circular AI modeling. AI is helping cities, companies, and farms embrace circular economy principles, reusing resources, minimizing waste. Models show 25% reductions in energy use, 18% better resource recovery, and 30% lower emissions from logistics, through optimized scheduling and waste sorting, Ranpara, 2024. Even in cloud computing and smart metering, AI optimizes resource loads, minimizes cooling needs, and schedules maintenance efficiently, PwC, 2024. Climate risk and resilience modeling. When drought, flood, or crop failure threaten entire regions, AI steps in. Massive weather, soil, and satellite datasets are modeled using machine learning to forecast climate impacts weeks ahead, enabling governments and farmers to adapt proactively, WMO, 2024. Tools like DeepSeek Claim AI can also help cite renewable energy projects and monitor carbon leakage, potentially offsetting its own energy footprint, DeepSeek, 2025. Scaling impact. Real investment trends. The world is investing in this shift. AI in agriculture is projected to grow from $1.7 billion in 2023 to $4.7 billion by 2028. Low- and middle-income countries could gain $450 billion annually, or 28% agricultural GDP growth, through digital farming, World Bank, 2024. Bridging technology with ethics. But AI's power must be grounded in justice. Without transparency, explainability, and participatory design, these systems risk replicating past inequities. They must be built for the planet and its people. Ethical AI frameworks must govern climate datasets, avoid surveillance misuse, and ensure smallholders retain ownership over their data and benefit from outcomes. UNESCO, 2023. Illustrative narratives, AI healing Earth. Imagine drone fleets surveying deforestation in real time, AI detecting signs of illegal logging, prompting ranger intervention before trees fall. Or farmers in Uttar Pradesh using vernacular Gen AI assistants, Kisan AI Denu. To guide climate-smart planting, cutting pesticide dependence and increasing yields by 40%, ICRISAT, 2024. In urban buildings, AI-managed HVAC systems optimize ventilation and energy use, saving costs and reducing emissions week over week, IEA, 2023. Vision forward, restoring balance. If AI is used responsibly, it can help reduce water use by 30% in irrigation, while boosting yields. Cut greenhouse gas emissions by nearly 20% in agriculture. Prevent millions of diagnostic, nutritional, or climate errors. Support circular economies with 20 to 30% efficiency gains. Forecast disasters and crop shortages before they strike. The human-agent collaboration. We often call AI algorithms cold decision makers, but in this context, AI becomes warm stewardship, working with farmers, policymakers, conservationists, and communities to heal land. At Rethynk AI, we see Earth as our shared patient, and AI, applied ethically, as our healer. Algorithms can monitor soil, predict drought timelines, suggest crop rotations that regenerate carbon in the Earth, or allocate energy across solar grids dynamically. It's resource intelligence at scale, if guided by human values. A call to collective action. As you move on from this chapter, remember, planting AI on Earth is not enough. We must cultivate it with equity, foresight, and collaboration. Climate change is complex, but so is the promise of hope when intelligence meets intention. Earth is not just our home. It is our responsibility. Chapter 9, Wealth Creation for Everyone. True wealth is not measured in capital alone, but in the opportunity every human has to create, contribute, and thrive. The shifting wealth paradigm. For centuries, wealth has been concentrated in the hands of a few, kingdoms, empires, corporations, and now tech giants. The Industrial Revolution brought factories, the information age brought digital platforms. But the AI era brings something radically new. The ability for any individual, equipped with access and training, to create wealth not just for themselves but for their community. The World Economic Forum projects that AI could contribute $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030, PwC, 2023. But unless consciously democratized, much of that value will be locked into corporations and nations with the highest compute power. Our challenge, and our opportunity, is to ensure wealth creation flows from the grassroots up, not just from the top down. Localized economic solutions, AI as a tailor, not a hammer. Every community has unique resources, challenges, and aspirations. AI, when applied locally, can design custom economic blueprints. Agriculture in sub-Saharan Africa. An AI tool predicts rainfall and crop cycles with hyperlocal accuracy. Farmers adjust planting schedules and reduce crop losses by up to 40%, World Bank, 2024. Local cooperatives sell the surplus in community markets, generating new revenue streams. Handicrafts in India. A small village uses AI-driven e-commerce translation tools to describe products in 15 languages. Suddenly, their bamboo baskets reach buyers in Tokyo, New York, and Paris. Revenue multiplies without leaving the village, UNDP, 2024. Fishing in Southeast Asia. AI-powered sonar and predictive modeling help fisherfolk identify sustainable fishing zones, reducing wasted trips and fuel costs. Catch quality improves, and so does income, FAO, 2023. These aren't just abstractions, they are examples of wealth as resilience, designed by local needs, not imposed by outsiders. Empowering small communities globally. AI democratizes access to the global economy for even the most remote communities. It acts as a bridge across borders. Community microenterprises. In Rwanda, AI-driven fintech platforms provide farmers with credit scores derived from farming behavior, not just banking history. This allows them to secure microloans and expand production, CGAP, 2024. Tourism in rural Europe. Villages with declining populations use AI-based VR storytelling to showcase heritage sites to global tourists. The virtual tours generate income via ticketing and drive actual tourist visits, reviving dying economies, EU Commission, 2024. Healthcare entrepreneurship. In Latin America, community health workers trained with AI diagnostic tools create microclinics, charging modest fees for checkups. Both health outcomes and livelihoods improve, PEJO, 2024. When small communities are empowered, they don't just enrich themselves. They become nodes in a global web of resilience and wealth creation. Individuals as wealth creators, AI as mentor and partner. The individual story is just as powerful. AI can be both a mentor, guiding skill acquisition, and a partner, augmenting productivity. Imagine a young woman named Amara in Nigeria. With only a smartphone, she accesses a free AI coding tutor. Within months, she builds a simple mobile app for local farmers to trade produce. Revenue begins to flow, not from Silicon Valley, but from her neighborhood. Similarly, in Detroit, a middle-aged man laid off from manufacturing uses an AI design assistant to create blueprints for affordable housing furniture. He sells them on Etsy and earns steady income, a reinvention that once felt impossible. These examples reflect what economists call the long tail of creators, millions of micro-entrepreneurs who, aided by AI, can carve niches in global markets once inaccessible to them. Anderson, 2006. Hypothetical scenarios. How individuals could use AI today. Imagine. The street vendor, a food cart owner in Manila, uses AI to analyze customer data from digital payments. AI shows that sales spike during rains. She invests in a small shelter and doubles her rainy day income. The teacher, a retired schoolteacher in Mexico, uses AI to create bilingual lesson plans and sells them on online marketplaces. Parents worldwide download them for homeschooling. She earns from knowledge once limited to her classroom. The musician, a teenager in Brazil, collaborates with AI music generators to produce affordable jingles for local businesses. Each project pays a little, but collectively, it builds a sustainable income. The farmer, in Punjab, a small farmer uses an AI chatbot, in Punjabi, that guides on when to water, how much fertilizer to use, and where to sell for better prices. Savings rise by 25%, income grows by 15%. Each scenario shows wealth creation not as luck or privilege, but as design. Powered by AI and local ingenuity. Case studies, AI in action. Kiva Plus AI, Global. The microfinance platform Kiva integrates AI to assess loan applications more efficiently, enabling entrepreneurs across 80+ countries to secure small loans. Default rates remain under 3%, proving AI can responsibly empower the unbanked. Kiva, 2023. India's AI Skilling Mission. India. The India AI Future Skills Initiative trains 1 million students and workers in AI literacy and entrepreneurship. Many graduates use AI freelancing platforms to create income streams, from graphic design to tutoring. MightY, 2024. Digital Green. Africa and Asia. AI-driven video tutorials in local languages teach farmers low-cost sustainable practices. Crop yields rise by up to 20%, reducing poverty and improving nutrition. Digital Green, 2024. She Codes Plus AI, Global. This program uses AI mentors to teach women coding. Alumni have launched hundreds of micro-enterprises, many in underserved countries. She Codes, 2023. The economics of everyday AI. AI doesn't just create jobs, it reshapes how work is distributed. A 2023 study found that freelancers using AI tools completed projects 40% faster and earned 20% more on platforms like Upwork. MIT Sloan, 2023. But the more radical shift is psychological. For the first time in history, anyone with a device can summon world-class expertise instantly. Whether in law, medicine, business, or engineering. That means barriers to entry are lowered across nearly every sector. Challenges on the road to inclusive wealth. The promise is vast, but so are the risks. Unequal access. Without affordable internet and devices, billions remain excluded. Skill gaps. If AI literacy is confined to the educated elite, it will reproduce inequality. Platform dependency. Over-reliance on corporate-controlled AI could limit local ownership of wealth. The solution lies in open-source AI, government-backed skilling programs, community data ownership, and ethical guardrails that ensure AI empowers rather than exploits. Vision, a world where wealth is shared. Imagine this. A village cooperative in Uganda builds solar-powered data centers. Youth train in AI skills and service clients globally. Profits fund schools and healthcare. A refugee community in Jordan uses AI to run online businesses, selling crafts and translations to worldwide markets, achieving self-reliance. A grandmother in remote village of South India teaches literacy via AI-augmented WhatsApp classes, earning both income and dignity. These are not utopias. They are possible realities if we steer AI towards inclusive design. Conclusion: wealth, redefined. Wealth in the AI age cannot be limited to GDP or stock indices. It must mean skills as assets, communities as enterprises, technology as mentor, not master. The future is one where a billion small wealth creators, guided by AI, create prosperity from the bottom up. Where AI no longer belongs only to corporations and coders, but to farmers, artisans, teachers, healers, and dreamers. And when that happens, wealth will not just be created, it will be shared. Practical guide: 10 ways to start creating wealth with AI today. You don't need to be a tech giant to benefit from AI. With a smartphone, internet connection, and curiosity, you can begin building value for yourself, your family, and your community. 1. Offer AI-assisted freelance services. Use platforms like Upwork or Fiverr with AI tools for writing, design, data analysis. Freelancers using AI complete projects 40% faster and earn 20% more, MIT Sloan, 2023. 2. Sell AI-enhanced local products. Use AI translation tools to describe your crafts or farm produce in multiple languages and sell globally through Etsy, Amazon Handmade, or local e-commerce platforms. 3. Create educational content. Teachers, retirees, or subject experts can use AI to generate lesson plans, explainer videos, or bilingual materials, and sell them on platforms like Gumroad, Udemy, or Teachable. 4. Build chatbots for small businesses. AI chatbot builders, like ManyChat or ChatFuel. Let anyone create customer service bots for shops, restaurants, or local clinics, services businesses are willing to pay for. 5. Use AI for farming optimization. Small farmers can use free AI apps to predict crop cycles, reduce fertilizer costs, or find better markets. Even saving 10% on inputs translates into significant profits in rural economies. 6. Generate digital art or music for sale. Artists and musicians can collaborate with AI tools like Midjourney, Runway, or SoundRaw to create unique designs and jingles. These can be licensed to small businesses or sold online. 7. Start an AI-powered micro-consulting service. If you have domain expertise, finance, health, law, marketing, AI can help you structure professional reports, presentations, and strategies, services local entrepreneurs will pay for. 8. Join the global gig economy. Even basic skills like transcription, translation, or data entry can be elevated with AI assistance, allowing you to compete in global markets with higher quality output. 9. Use AI to reduce costs in your own business. Street vendors, shopkeepers, and farmers can use AI tools for demand forecasting, pricing strategies, or waste reduction, turning everyday savings into wealth. 10. Learn with AI as your mentor. Free AI tutors can teach coding, design, business strategy, or even languages. Within months, individuals can acquire skills that unlock higher-paying opportunities in the global market. Final thought. The real wealth of AI lies not in machines, but in human creativity amplified by intelligent tools. AI is not a replacement for imagination or effort, but a catalyst that multiplies both. By starting small, a simple project, a side hustle, a new skill, individuals can unlock doors that once seemed reserved for large corporations or the privileged few. Consistency turns experiments into enterprises, and curiosity into capability. When embraced with intention, AI becomes not just a tool, but a lifelong partner, mentor, and bridge to opportunities that can transform lives, families, and entire communities. Part 3, The Human Spirit in the Age of AI. Chapter 10, Merging Empathy with Intelligence. The future of AI is not just measured in teraflops and algorithms, but in how deeply it understands, supports, and uplifts the human spirit. Before the real start of the discussion, let's first of all ponder on the conversation that went and acted as an harbinger for this chapter creation. Elaine, Jaideep, I often wonder, people say AI is intelligent, but can it ever be kind? Machines don't have hearts. Jaideep, true, Elaine, machines don't feel. But empathy in AI doesn't mean giving it emotions, it means designing it to understand ours. A system that notices when a patient's voice trembles, or when a student's tone reflects discouragement, can respond in ways that heal. Elaine, so it's not about pretending AI has feelings, but about making sure it respects ours? Jaideep, exactly. Emotional intelligence in AI is about recognition, context, and response. If an AI tutor senses a child struggling, it should encourage rather than criticize. If an elderly patient feels lonely, it should offer companionship, not cold data. Elaine, that's what excites me. Because when you combine your research lens with my humanitarian lens, I see a future where technology doesn't just serve productivity, it serves people's hearts. Imagine refugee children comforted by empathetic learning companions, or widows finding a voice to talk to when they feel alone. Jaideep, and imagine doctors, teachers, aid workers, not replaced, but supported by machines that reduce their burden and extend their care. That's when AI stops being a tool and becomes a partner. A partner with, as you put it, a heart. Elaine, smiling, a heart made not of flesh, but of intention. Human intention. That's the kind of AI the world deserves. The need for empathetic machines. Artificial intelligence has long been praised for its ability to analyze massive datasets, detect patterns invisible to humans, and deliver results at lightning speed. But intelligence without empathy is incomplete. To truly empower humanity, AI must learn to understand not only what we say, but what we feel. The global mental health crisis underscores this urgency. The WHO estimates that depression and anxiety cost the world economy $1 trillion annually in lost productivity, WHO, 2023. Millions suffer in silence due to lack of access to therapists or stigma around seeking help. If AI could bridge even part of that gap, by listening, responding, and guiding, it could bring relief where human systems have failed. This is where the concept of emotional intelligence in AI takes center stage. Machines that detect tone, sentiment, and emotional context can become companions, coaches, and guides. Designing AI with emotional intelligence. What does emotional intelligence look like in machines? 1. Sentiment analysis in communication. AI can analyze vocal tone, facial expressions, or text to detect emotions. For instance, Microsoft's AI systems are being designed to sense frustration in a user's voice during customer service calls and escalate to a human representative, Microsoft, 2023. 2. Compassionate chatbots. Apps like Wobot, an AI-driven cognitive behavioral therapy bot, use conversational empathy to help users navigate anxiety and depression. Studies show Wobot reduced symptoms of depression significantly after just 2 weeks of use, Stanford, 2022. 3. AI in elder care. In Japan, humanoid robots like Pepper are being deployed in nursing homes to provide companionship to the elderly, reducing loneliness and stimulating mental engagement, SoftBank Robotics, 2023. 4. Crisis detection. Social platforms are experimenting with AI that identifies suicidal ideation in posts or messages, proactively connecting individuals to helplines, Meta, 2022. These systems don't replace human care, but they extend its reach. Acting as the first line of listening in a noisy, often indifferent world. Case studies, empathy at scale. Refugee support. In conflict zones, UNHCR has tested AI chatbots that communicate in multiple local languages to assist refugees with relocation processes, medical support, and legal aid. By offering immediate, empathetic answers, the system reduces the stress of navigating complex bureaucracies. UNHCR, 2023. Disaster relief. Following the 2015 Nepal earthquake, AI platforms helped coordinate humanitarian aid by analyzing satellite data and social media to locate survivors. In later deployments, emotionally aware interfaces were added so survivors felt heard rather than treated like data points. Red Cross, 2020. Health coaching. In the US, AI-powered apps like Replica provide companionship to individuals dealing with isolation. While not perfect, users often report feeling less lonely, as if they were truly talking to a friend. Replica, 2023. These stories highlight AI's ability to scale empathy, reaching millions where human resources are scarce. Fictional illustration, a day in the life of empathetic AI. Consider Maya, a young woman struggling with postpartum depression in a rural village. She has no access to a therapist and feels isolated. On her low-cost smartphone, she downloads an AI counselor that communicates in her native tongue. The AI not only provides cognitive exercises but also notices when her tone grows heavy with despair. It suggests a call to a local community health worker, even arranging the appointment. At the same time, her husband uses a farm advisory AI that senses his growing frustration after repeated crop losses. Instead of bland advice, the AI acknowledges his stress, offering encouragement alongside predictive insights for the next planting season. For Maya and her family, AI is not a machine. It is a partner that listens, understands, and responds. Consider Steve, a 72-year-old widower in Greenock, spends most of his days alone since his children moved abroad. Loneliness weighs heavily on him, and his memory has begun to falter. One day, his grandson installs an AI companion app on Steve's inexpensive tablet. The AI greets him every morning in Scots, reminding him of prayer times, his medication schedule, and even sharing jokes when it detects sadness in his voice. It gently recalls stories Steve once told, piecing them together from conversations. Over time, Steve's sense of isolation diminishes. He feels seen, heard, and cared for, even when his family is far away. For Steve, the AI becomes more than a tool. It becomes a bridge to dignity in his later years. Consider in a refugee camp in Jordan, 14-year-old Layla struggles to keep up with her disrupted schooling. Traditional lessons overwhelm her, and she often gives up in frustration. When introduced to an AI tutor designed with emotional intelligence, everything changes. The system notices her hesitation when answering math questions and adapts its tone, offering encouragement instead of correction. When Layla shows progress, the AI celebrates her achievements with warm affirmations, boosting her confidence. Slowly, Layla regains her love of learning, and with each step, she believes a little more in her future. Here, AI is not just teaching her equations, it is nurturing hope. Such scenarios remind us of what's possible when empathy merges with intelligence. Challenges in building empathetic AI. Of course, creating machines that understand emotion is fraught with complexity. Cultural nuance. Emotions are expressed differently across societies. An AI trained on Western facial expressions may misread cues in Asia or Africa. Hofstede, 2022. Privacy concerns. Emotional data is deeply personal. Without strict governance, misuse could lead to manipulation or surveillance. UNESCO, 2023. Over-reliance. There's a risk of individuals substituting human relationships with AI companions, deepening isolation if boundaries are not managed. APA, 2023. Thus, empathy in AI must be carefully balanced with ethical guardrails. Toward humanitarian AI. The most inspiring use of empathetic AI comes in humanitarian causes. Education. Children traumatized by war or disaster often struggle to reintegrate into classrooms. AI-driven tutors designed with empathetic interaction can adapt to their emotional states, gently encouraging learning without pressure. Save the Children, 2023. Healthcare. AI can act as a mental health triage tool in overburdened systems, identifying those most at risk and channeling them toward human professionals. Lancet, 2023. Community empowerment. Platforms like TalkLife, combined with AI moderation, create safe peer-to-peer spaces where individuals can share struggles. AI ensures the conversations remain supportive, intervening in moments of crisis. TalkLife, 2023. When AI serves humanity with compassion, it moves from being an assistant to being a companion for resilience. Vision, machines with a heart. Imagine a future where an AI mediator calms online arguments before they spiral into hate. AI caregivers provide emotional support to the elderly, reminding them not just of medication schedules but of the names of grandchildren. AI learning companions detect when a child is discouraged and respond with encouragement, not reprimand. This is not fantasy. The building blocks are already here. The real question is whether we will design AI to be indifferent, or to care. Special note by Jaideep. The Lost Art of Empathy, and the Power of Reading. As we stand at the threshold of an AI-driven world, one of the most profound challenges we face is not technological but emotional, the erosion of empathy. In a society increasingly dominated by screens, algorithms, and fast-consuming content, the subtle, reflective, deeply human skill of feeling with others is quietly diminishing. Yet, if artificial intelligence is to serve humanity, it must be guided by human beings who remain capable of understanding, imagining, and empathizing. One of the most powerful, and scientifically proven, ways to cultivate empathy is also one of the oldest: reading. Cognitive neuroscientist Rita Carter has written extensively about how reading activates the human brain in ways no other medium does. According to her research, when we read, 10 different regions of the brain are engaged simultaneously, areas associated with language, visualization, memory, emotion, and theory of mind. Carter, Mapping the Mind, 2009. In contrast, audiovisual media typically stimulate just one dominant brain region, often linked to passive sensory processing. This difference is not trivial. The immersive, imaginative nature of reading forces the brain to construct worlds, visualize emotions, and inhabit other perspectives. That mental exercise is precisely what builds empathetic capacity. As Carter explains, reading fiction and complex narratives trains the neural networks responsible for mentalizing, the ability to imagine what others feel, believe, or experience. Carter, The Human Brain Book, 2014. In other words, reading is not just entertainment, it is a neurological workout for empathy. A personal testament, my journey through books. My own story is living proof of this principle. Every business I've built, every research direction I've pursued, and every system I've designed began with reading. It is no exaggeration to say that reading is the foundation of my intellectual journey. Since 2008, I have read more than 1,300 books, covering fields as diverse as neuroscience, economics, psychology, philosophy, artificial intelligence, and systems thinking. Each one has shaped how I approach problems, how I design solutions, and, most importantly, how I understand people. The nuanced insights I gain from books have been indispensable in my work, far surpassing anything that could be gleaned from short-form videos, lectures, or AI summaries. Books forced me to slow down and think. They trained me to connect complex ideas across disciplines, to anticipate the needs of users and communities, and to embed empathy into every solution I build. Without that depth of reading, my ventures, from AI research platforms to prompt engineering compendiums, would never have evolved into sustainable, impactful systems. Empathy as the missing ingredient in AI design. This neuroscience-backed insight has direct implications for how we build and deploy AI. If we want intelligent systems that can genuinely support human well-being, not merely automate tasks, then human designers must cultivate empathy themselves. AI will only ever reflect the intentions and values of the people who create and deploy it. And those intentions are shaped by the depth of their understanding of human experience, something reading uniquely develops. Imagine a future where engineers, policymakers, and entrepreneurs treat reading not as a luxury but as a strategic discipline, a core component of leadership training and AI ethics education. That future would produce AI tools that are more inclusive, compassionate, and context-aware, because they would be built by minds that are trained not just to think, but to feel. Empathy as the North Star. We live in an age where intelligence is abundant, but empathy feels scarce. Merging the two is not just desirable, it is necessary. Empathetic AI is not about pretending machines have feelings, but about designing them to understand and respond to ours. As Elaine often emphasizes, technology without humanity is empty. And as I, Jaideep, have long argued, intelligence without compassion is dangerous. Together, our shared vision is to ensure AI grows not just smarter, but kinder. The future will not be measured in how fast AI can calculate, but in how deeply it can heal, connect, and comfort. When empathy merges with intelligence, we move closer to a world where no one is left unheard. Chapter 11, Creativity and Healing. Where science gives us solutions, art gives us hope. And when AI bridges the two, healing becomes both intelligent and soulful. The rise of creative healing in an age of anxiety. We are living in an age where mental health is becoming one of the greatest challenges of our time. The World Health Organization reports that nearly 1 in 8 people worldwide live with mental health conditions, and depression alone is now the leading cause of disability globally, WHO, 2023. Anxiety, stress, burnout, and loneliness have grown into silent epidemics. Technology, often blamed for worsening this crisis, may paradoxically hold the key to relief, when paired with creativity and empathy. Music and art have always been humanity's most ancient medicines. From tribal drums guiding rituals to lullabies soothing infants, sound and color transcend barriers of language. They help us express what words cannot. Now, as artificial intelligence enters this space, we are beginning to discover how algorithms can amplify the healing potential of creativity. Music as therapy, science behind the sound. Music therapy is no longer anecdotal, it is a scientifically validated approach to healing. Research shows that listening to music reduces cortisol levels, the body's stress hormone, NIH, 2022. Stimulates dopamine release, enhancing feelings of joy and motivation, Harvard Medical School, 2023. Helps stroke patients regain speech by stimulating neural pathways in the brain, American Stroke Association, 2021. Improves sleep quality, reduces chronic pain, and alleviates symptoms of PTSD, Journal of Music Therapy, 2022. Hospitals across Europe and the US now integrate music therapy into recovery programs. Cancer wards play soothing compositions during chemotherapy, neonatal ICUs use carefully designed soundscapes to calm premature babies. In this context, AI has become a powerful ally. Generative AI systems can create personalized soundtracks tailored to an individual's emotional state, heartbeat, or breathing rhythm. Imagine an app that listens to your stress levels through your voice and instantly generates calming music, not generic playlists, but melodies sculpted to your body's needs. Such systems are already in early trials, showing promise in reducing anxiety before surgery or exams, Stanford, 2023. Elaine's healing cushions, weaving empathy into art. Elaine's story brings this abstract science down to earth. After the devastating loss of her husband Neil, she found herself in a dark place. Words often failed her, but creativity did not. She began crafting healing cushions, soft, hand-stitched works that carried not just fabric, but memories, comfort, and love. These cushions, sold in local craft shops, became more than objects, they were symbols of resilience, teaching her children that grief can be transformed into beauty. Elaine also wrote and recorded I Believe in Angels, a song in Neil's memory. It became a healing hymn not just for her family but for others enduring loss. Through these creations, Elaine discovered what scientists confirm: creative acts externalize pain and turn it into meaning. Jaideep's innovation lens, Valintra tunes. Parallel to Elaine's humanitarian artistry, Jaideep brought his research-driven curiosity into the realm of music innovation. He envisioned music not just as entertainment, but as medicine for the soul. This led to the creation of Valintra Tunes, a heartfelt project dedicated to providing soothing, thematic music that resonates with universal human emotions. Valintra Tunes curates collections designed for different audiences. Hope and Faith series. Instrumental harmonies that uplift spirits during moments of despair. Healing journeys. Slow, meditative tracks aligned with practices like yoga, meditation, and therapy. Gen Z collection. Vibrant, modern tracks designed for younger audiences, providing them with uplifting alternatives to often chaotic mainstream music. These tracks are available on the official YouTube channel of Valintra Tunes, where many listen daily. Listeners sometimes personally share stories of how a song calmed their anxiety before an exam, gave them strength through illness, or brought peace during sleepless nights. AI's role in creative healing. The partnership between creativity and AI is opening radical new possibilities. Personalized compositions. AI can generate music in real time that adapts to the listener's mood, heart rate, or environment. Apps like Endel and Brain FM already use algorithms to create soundscapes that improve focus or sleep. Therapeutic art generation. AI image tools can help trauma survivors express inner feelings by co-creating artwork from their words. Psychologists report that such visualizations help patients externalize emotions safely. APA, 2023. Virtual reality plus AI. VR environments enhanced with AI-generated music and visuals are being tested for PTSD therapy, creating immersive safe spaces for recovery. Lancet Digital Health, 2022. At its best, AI doesn't replace human creativity, it amplifies it, allowing artists, therapists, and healers to scale their impact. Elaine's musical background played a crucial role in shaping these masterpieces. Her sensitivity to tone and emotional resonance complemented Jaideep's technical approach, making Valintra Tunes not just a project, but a shared mission of healing. Fictional illustration, The Veteran's Song. Consider John, a war veteran in the U.S. haunted by PTSD. He struggles with nightmares, guilt, and alienation. Through a rehabilitation program, he is introduced to an AI-driven music therapy app. The AI listens to his nightly breathing patterns and generates calming guitar-based melodies before sleep. Gradually, his episodes reduce. One day, he collaborates with the AI to compose a song about his journey, lyrics he could never have written alone. When shared with fellow veterans, the song resonates deeply, sparking a community of healing. This fictional story mirrors countless real ones, where AI becomes the bridge between trauma and recovery, solitude and connection. The bigger picture, healing a stressed world. Mental health disorders are projected to cost the global economy $6 trillion by 2030 if left unaddressed. World Bank, 2023. Traditional systems, overburdened therapists, costly healthcare, cultural stigma, cannot cope with the rising tide. Here, creative AI emerges not as a luxury, but as a necessity. Imagine rural clinics where patients receive not just medicine but playlists designed by empathetic AI. Or schools where anxious teenagers use AI art tools to channel their emotions into digital murals. Or urban hospitals where AI monitors patient stress and prescribes calming soundscapes as part of recovery. Healing, once confined to hospitals and therapists' offices, can become ubiquitous, affordable, and personal, woven into daily life through the union of creativity and AI. The harmony of research and art. Elaine and Jaideep represent two complementary threads in this movement. Elaine, with her healing cushions and songs, demonstrates how creativity transforms grief into light. Jaideep, with Valintra Tunes and his innovation lens, shows how research and technology can scale that light into a global phenomenon. Together, they illustrate a profound truth: healing is not just medical, it is emotional, spiritual, and creative. And AI, when designed with empathy, can become a global partner in nurturing that healing. The future will belong not only to smarter machines, but to kinder melodies, the songs, colors, and stories that help humanity recover from its wounds. As long as we merge creativity with intelligence, and art with algorithms, the world will always have reasons to hope, heal, and hum along. Chapter 12, Some Stories Surfacing. The true power of AI isn't in its algorithms, it's in regenerative stories of uplift when communities become creators, not just consumers. As per our theme and discussions hitherto, here are a few stories that have recently surfaced, in which AI has proven to be of great help. Saving new lives in Malawi. At the Area 25 Health Center in Lilongwe, Malawi, an AI-based fetal monitoring system has revolutionized childbirth care. The software tracks vital signs in real time, alerting clinicians to fetal distress. In one case, a baby's HR drop was detected in time to deliver via emergency cesarean, when conventional systems might have failed. The result? There has been an 82% reduction in stillbirths and neonatal deaths since implementing the system. Paragon/Malawi Ministry, 2024. Smart Aid after Hurricane Ian. After Hurricane Ian devastated parts of Florida, Google.org and GiveDirectly used AI and satellite imagery to rapidly identify damaged homes. More than 3,500 residents in the hardest-hit areas received $700 in cash assistance within days. Avoiding bureaucracy and enabling swift recovery, Google.org/GiveDirectly, 2022. Mercy Corps Aid Assistant in Crisis Zones. Mercy Corps Methods Matcher is a generative AI tool that helps field teams in over 40 countries with evidence-based decisions, from agricultural crisis response to optimal cash aid strategies. Launched in late 2024, it drastically reduced response time and improved aid quality on the ground. Mercy Corps/Cloudera, 2025. Farmers reclaiming the future in Bihar, India. Kaushalendra, an alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad, launched a grassroots AI education initiative for over 30,000 landless and marginal farmers in Bihar's Nalanda, Nevada, and Patna districts. Using simple smartphones, farmers learn to access weather forecasts, identify crop diseases via images, and understand government programs. The initiative transitioned AI from abstraction to daily resilience. Times of India, 2025. AI for speech access in Ghana. Project Relate, created by Google, enables individuals with atypical speech patterns to communicate in English using adaptive voice recognition. Oscar Darko-Sarfo, born with a cleft palate, found new confidence and work using this technology in Ghana, illustrating how niche AI accessibility tools can profoundly empower underserved voices. Financial Times, 2024. Community mapping in Latin America. In informal settlements, community-led mapping powered by AI and smartphones reveals drainage paths, risk zones, and local governance structures unknown to authorities. These maps inform disaster preparedness and urban service planning, turning invisible spaces into actionable data. World Economic Forum, 2025. AI detects gender bias in Kenya's courts. The World Bank deployed NLP to analyze judicial opinions, uncovering gender bias in language that correlates with lower success rates for female defendants. This initiative prompted judicial transparency measures and policy conversations around bias in legal systems. World Bank, 2024. Wadhwani AI's Krushi 24/7 in India. Wadhwani AI's Krushi 24/7 uses AI to translate real-time agricultural news into insights, warnings, and localized advisories for farmers. Initially in multiple Indian languages, the service equips smallholders with actionable intelligence on weather, crop pests, and market trends. Wadhwani AI, 2023. WeFarm, Farmer-to-Farmer AI Network. WeFarm is a peer-to-peer SMS-based AI system that connects small farmers across Kenya, Uganda, and Peru. When a farmer asks a question by text, machine learning identifies the best responders, often other farmers, and delivers answers within hours. Over 1 million users use WeFarm today, mostly offline. WeFarm, 2024. WeRobotics Flying Labs. WeRobotics operates local, flying labs, across 41 locations globally, using autonomous drones and AI to map disaster zones, monitor forests, and support regenerative agriculture. In Kenya, UAV imagery helps farmers monitor crop health. In Nepal and Fiji, drones were used for post-disaster damage assessment. WeRobotics, 2025. Humanitarian OpenStreetMap Team, HOT. Integrating AI with community mapping, HOT nearly doubled the speed at which responders could map disasters and vulnerable areas. In 2025, their AI-supported mapping was critical for resource delivery in flooding and earthquake zones. HOT/Relief Web, 2025. UN's AI for Humanitarian Challenges. The Humanitarian Innovation Fund supported 10 finalist AI projects designed to solve real-world crises, from crisis mapping to refugee aid. These initiatives emphasize local co-creation and ethical deployment of AI in sensitive contexts. ELRA/HIF, 2024. Ada Health and Foundation Botner in East Africa. Ada Health Swahili language AI app, supported by Foundation Botner, makes medical symptom checking available to over 100 million East Africans. For many users with limited healthcare access, Ada now serves as a first-line health advisor. Foundation Botner, 2023. ACOM, the AI Mobile Doctor. The ACOM platform runs diagnostic screening, such as monkeypox detection, on basic feature phones without internet, serving remote communities lacking medical infrastructure. It embodies a vision of accessible healthcare AI for the underserved. Yang et al., 2023. Washkero, Combating Misinformation in India. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Washkaro used conversational AI in local languages, e.g., Hindi, to deliver verified WHO-based health advice via voice and chat. Engagement doubled over 6 weeks, particularly among women users. Pandey et al., 2020. AI for Moroccan earthquake response. Following the 2023 Al House earthquake in Morocco, AI-powered tools developed in a Solidarity hackathon analyzed open-source disaster data, prioritized affected villages, and informed rescue coordination. These timely insights guided on-the-ground humanitarian response. Morocco Solidarity Hackathon, 2023. The common thread: community-led, context-aware AI. When we step back and look at these stories together, a clear pattern emerges. These projects, spread across continents and cultures, are not isolated miracles, they are variations of a shared design philosophy: AI that listens, adapts, and empowers. 1. Local engagement: AI designed by listening, not imposing. The most successful humanitarian AI initiatives are born not in corporate boardrooms, but in village meetings, refugee camps, and crowded clinics. They thrive because they start with a simple question: what do people here actually need? For example, the WeFarm network works because it allows farmers to answer each other's questions. It isn't Silicon Valley experts dictating crop strategies, it's the farmers of Uganda and Kenya sharing knowledge with peers, translated and amplified by AI. Similarly, in Bihar, Kaushalendra's grassroots AI program gave farmers direct training and tools to solve their own problems rather than importing irrelevant global solutions. Times of India, 2025. This local-first approach ensures AI doesn't just arrive in a community, it belongs to it. As Parthasarathi and Katzman argue, context-aware AI that emerges from the community is far more sustainable than top-down deployments. Parthasarathi and Katzman, 2024. 2. Accessible platforms. Meeting people where they are. Accessibility is the heartbeat of democratized AI. The people who need AI most often have the least infrastructure: poor internet, old devices, low literacy. Projects that succeed are those that adapt to these limitations instead of demanding upgrades. SMS and feature phones. WeFarm connects over 1 million small farmers through basic SMS. No internet, no fancy devices, just text messages, powered by machine learning. Multilingual chatbots. Washkaro reached thousands in India during COVID-19 by speaking in local languages like Hindi and Punjabi, something English-only apps could never achieve. Low-cost apps. Ada Health Swahili AI Symptom Checker gave over 100 million East Africans access to basic medical advice on entry-level smartphones. Foundation Botner, 2023. Offline functionality. ACOM runs diagnostic screening on basic devices without internet. This removes the dependency on bandwidth, which is often absent in remote regions. Yang et al., 2023. These platforms are effective because they are built for reality, not ideal conditions. By removing barriers, they turn AI from a futuristic dream into a daily lifeline. 3. Tangible outcomes: real lives, real change. The final common thread is perhaps the most important: results. These projects are not experiments in a lab, they are stories of measurable impact. In Malawi, AI reduced stillbirths by 82% at a maternity center. Paragon/Malawi Ministry, 2024. After Hurricane Ian, cash transfers reached 3,500 residents within days thanks to AI-guided damage assessment. Google.org, 2022. In refugee camps, UNHCR's multilingual AI chatbots cut response times dramatically, easing the stress of navigating legal systems. In agriculture, predictive tools like Krishi 24/7 are reducing crop losses by alerting farmers to pests and climate shifts in advance. Wadhwani AI, 2023. These are not abstract promises. They are babies alive, farmers thriving, refugees reassured, families fed. The golden formula. When you combine local engagement, accessible platforms, and tangible outcomes, AI ceases to be a buzzword. It becomes what it was always meant to be, a tool for human flourishing. And the lesson is clear. If AI is to truly change the world, it must be grounded in context, shaped by community, and judged not by its novelty but by the lives it improves. Stories over statistics. These are not hope-fueled fantasies. They are living, breathing transformations, powered by AI systems that meet real people where they are. In villages, clinics, refugee camps, remote farms, AI is helping communities claim agency, dignity, and opportunity. As readers, we often debate what AI can do. But here, at the ground level, we see what AI does: saves lives, empowers farmers, unlocks knowledge, and builds resilience. These stories remind us that technology's greatest promise lies not in its novelty, but in its ability to serve humanity, one community at a time. Part 4, Navigating the Shadows. Chapter 13, The Threats We Can't Ignore. Technology that makes deception easier also demands more vigilance from all of us. From promise to peril. We began this book with hope. AI's promise to heal, empower, and elevate. Yet, as with all technologies, AI also carries shadows. The same algorithms that help us learn, heal, and create can be weaponized to deceive, manipulate, and divide. Those shadows are not distant, they are here, now, and growing. In North America alone, deepfake-based fraud surged by 1,740% between 2022 and 2023, resulting in over $200 million in losses in Q1 2025, WEF, 2025. Deepfake scams now account for over 90% of AI-based threats on mobile devices, Avast, 2024. These numbers reflect not just criminal activity, but a crisis of trust, the erosion of our shared belief in what is real, Avast, 2025, Resemble AI, 2025. Deepfakes, Identity Theft 2.0. Deepfakes impersonate voices, faces, or gestures so convincingly they trigger our instinct to believe. Business executives, celebrities, and even innocent individuals are targeted. A recent case in Southern California involved a woman deceived into believing she was in a romantic relationship with actor Steve Burton, sending over $430,000, including selling her home, India Times, 2025. Similarly, a Ferrari CFO was deepfaked during a video meeting prompting a $25.6 million transfer, Romero Moreno, 2025. In Michigan and Australia, attacks using cloned voices and visuals have vault-jumped corporate defenses, causing losses in the tens of millions, NewsGuard, 2025, Wall Street Journal, 2025. People's natural tendency to trust what they see and hear, coupled with deepfake tools requiring only seconds of voice or image clips, makes the threat both potent and pervasive, DHS, 2022, Sippy et al., 2024. The liar's dividend, mistaking truth for fake. A troubling new dynamic is emerging, public figures dismissing real evidence as probably AI. President Trump diluted the impact of legitimate footage by blaming AI deepfakes. An example of the liar's dividend, where digital skepticism is exploited to deny accountability, AP News, 2025. This strategy deepens confusion and corrodes trust. When people can't rely on what they see or hear, societies begin to fracture, and leaders can manipulate perception rather than debate truth, WEF, 2025. Hallucinations and misinformation, when AI just makes things up. Generative AI tools sometimes hallucinate. Inventing plausible but fictional information, including legal citations or academic references. A former law student in Iowa was disciplined after AI-generated case law led to fabricated court filings, Reuters, 2025. Law firms are now scrutinized for inaccurate AI output, and courts nationwide have fined attorneys as much as $15,000 for AI mishaps, Reuters, 2025. Meanwhile, Axios reports that AI chatbot misinformation nearly doubled. From 18% to 35% of responses on news-related prompts in 1 year, Axios, 2025. Better responsiveness and access to live web data increased engagement, but at the cost of fidelity and fact-checking, NewsGuard, 2025. Misinformation, political manipulation and deepfake abuse. AI-generated deepfakes are no longer fantasy, they are election threats. In Ghana, 171 fake accounts tied to political deepfake campaigns spread misinformation ahead of the 2024 elections, NewsGuard, 2024. In France, fake footage circulated showing political figures behaving offensively, seen millions of times before being debunked, Wikipedia, 2025. The World Bank and global analysts warn that AI now enables propaganda at scale, destabilizing democracies by spreading half-truths, salacious rumors, and falsified images, WEF, 2025, Canada Security Intelligence, 2025. Non-consensual deepfake pornography and reputation harm. AI's misuse goes beyond impersonation. In early 2024, sexually explicit deepfake images of Taylor Swift circulated widely, viewed by over 45 million people, sparked public outrage and prompted legislative calls, Wikipedia, 2025. Similarly, a Houston influencer was targeted by fake nude videos created without consent, triggering legal action for defamation and emotional distress, Houston Cron, 2025. These cases illustrate deepfakes' capacity to destroy reputations, trauma individuals, and challenge legal systems that are not yet fully prepared. Identity fraud and the collapse of biometric trust. Biometric systems, used for identity verification in banking, government services, and secure access, face new threats from deepfakes. A recent study involving 408 professionals found significant skepticism about face or voice-based biometrics, warning that traditional modalities can be spoofed with shallow deepfakes, He et al., 2025. Deepfake face-swapping attacks on ID systems rose by 704% in 2023, especially in finance and fintech sectors, iProv, 2025. These tools threaten the very foundation of digitally secured identity. Financial and institutional threats. Deepfake fraud is not limited to celebrities or individuals. In 2025 alone, 105,000 deepfake attacks were reported in the U.S., costing companies over $200 million in Q1, Wall Street Journal, 2025. Insurers face fraudulent claims, governments face phishing via realistic impersonations, and corporations face CEOs cloned by voice for ransom or deception, Swiss Re, 2025, TechRadar, 2025. The attacks often exploit corporate culture and internal processes, for example, the infamous $25 million CEO deepfake transfer. And highlight organizational vulnerability across global enterprises, KPMG, 2025, NewsGuard, 2025. The failure of detection technology. Deepfake detection tools exist but lag behind the technology they seek to counter. Even sophisticated systems struggle to detect 35 to 40% of real-time videos created via tools like Deepface Lab or Avatarify, FSHR, 2025. The GAO notes that detection alone does not solve the problem because disinformation can spread faster than it can be flagged, GAO, 2024. Without robust provenance, watermarking, or verified metadata, users remain vulnerable, even to genuine footage being dismissed as fake, ITU, 2025. Adobe, 2025. Legal and policy responses. Governments are beginning to act. In 2025, the U.S. enacted the Take It Down Act, mandating platforms swiftly remove non-consensual deepfake visuals, especially intimate content, U.S. Senate, 2025. Minnesota courts ruled against reliance on AI-generated expert testimony when hallucinations were revealed in official filings, Reuters, 2025. However, courts still lack consistent frameworks for evidentiary standards when deepfakes are introduced, ISBA, 2025. Policy debates continue on transparency laws, platform scrutiny, and criminal liability for AI-generated harms. The erosion of social trust. At its core, the threat is social. A Canada intelligence briefing warns that deepfakes can trigger community mistrust, polarize populations, and incite unrest, weakening democratic resilience, Canada Security Intelligence Service, 2025. The psychology is clear: once people suspect media, even true media, they begin to doubt broadly, and fact becomes political. Surveys in the UK show over 90% of people worry about deepfake misinformation, even if only 15% recall a specific encounter with it, Sippy et al., 2024. The gap between fear and digital literacy leaves communities exposed and cynical. Special edition by Jaideep. The hidden threat, losing depth in the age of convenience. One of the less discussed threats of AI is not malicious misuse like deepfakes or misinformation, but something more subtle, the erosion of depth. AI can provide you with any content in seconds, summaries of books, analyses of trends, even step-by-step strategies for business growth. But convenience comes with a hidden cost. The risk of mistaking surface knowledge for mastery. Take, for example, Jim Collins' Good to Great. It is a masterpiece of business literature, studied by leaders across the world for its depth, clarity, and transformative insights. If you ask an AI tool to summarize the book, you will certainly get the bullet points: disciplined people, disciplined thought, disciplined action. But what you will not get is the special essence. The lived impact of reading line by line, reflecting on case studies, and absorbing the nuanced way Collins builds his argument. Every chapter, every story, even every sentence adds a layer of meaning that a summary, however accurate, cannot capture. This is the catch: AI can give you information, but not wisdom. Wisdom is cultivated through effort, through thorough reading, deliberate reflection, and critical analysis. In the age of AI, the temptation is to consume quickly and move on. But if you want to stand apart in business or in life, you must resist that pull. The real threat, then, is distraction. Surrounded by infinite content, it is easy to skim, scroll, and shortcut. But success still requires what it always has: special effort. Focused attention. The discipline to read deeply, think critically, and extract lessons others miss. AI may be the greatest accelerator of our time. But acceleration without direction only leads to distraction. To truly thrive, you must not only use AI, but also cultivate the ability to go beyond it, to slow down, engage deeply, and build the kind of insight that no algorithm can hand to you. Conclusion: a crisis demanding collective guardrails. These threats aren't hypothetical, they are unfolding now. From personal fraud to political destabilization, from privacy violations to courtrooms in chaos, the emerging landscape demands more than technology ignorance or banishment. We need stronger regulations. Frameworks like the Take It Down Act are a start, but global norms, transparency mandates, and consent laws are urgently needed. Public literacy. Education campaigns must teach everyone, especially youth, how to question, verify, and resist manipulation. Detection infrastructure. Platforms and governments must embed authenticated watermarking, forensics, and trust protocols into media pipelines. Ethical AI design. Systems that record provenance, avoid hallucinations, and signal uncertainty overtly. If we fail to respond, the very trust that underpins society, trust in media, institutions, and each other, could erode beyond recovery. We began this book believing AI could uplift humanity. But the shadow side shows us the price of inaction: a world where sight, sound, and trust are negotiable, where deception becomes default. Only by acknowledging these threats, and building intelligence that values truth, can we ensure AI becomes a force that enhances, rather than fractures, our shared reality. Chapter 14: Bias in the Machine. An AI bias isn't just a technical defect, it's a reflection of our past, amplified into our future. When intelligence mirrors inequality, AI often masquerades as neutral, the product of algorithms, not intentions. But AI is only as unbiased as the data it learns from. In reality, many AI systems replicate and magnify human prejudices entrenched across centuries. These biases manifest across healthcare, hiring, justice, and public services, turning potential progress into systemic harm. Hoffman, 2025. Real cases of ethical failure. Healthcare bias against Black patients. A widely used prediction algorithm deployed across U.S. hospitals underestimated the care needs of Black patients, because it was trained on healthcare cost data that reflected historical underinvestment in Black communities. As a result, Black patients were 50% less likely to be flagged for high-risk care. Science study, Optum algorithm. Gender and racial bias in facial recognition. Studies found facial recognition systems misidentify Black and Asian faces at rates up to 100 times higher than white faces. Notable wrongful arrests occurred due to such misidentifications, including the high-profile case of Robert Williams in Detroit, Georgia State University study, NIST. Biased hiring algorithms. Amazon's recruiting AI downgraded resumes with the term women's or those from women candidates, reflecting historical gender imbalances in applicant pools. It was retired after internal review revealed its unfair bias. Reuters, 2018. Biased social care summaries. Research from LSE showed AI tools used by English Council summarized men's health conditions as more serious than women's, even when only gender was changed in the text. This is leading to unequal care provision. Rickman, LSE, 2025. Amazon card gender bias. A credit algorithm issued significantly higher limits to men than women even within married couples. Apple's card protocol favored male applicants despite equal financial profiles. The Markup, 2021. Why bias persists. Bias creeps in at every stage. Data bias. Training datasets mirror social inequities or omit marginalized populations. Model selection bias. Algorithms optimized for the majority perform poorly for underrepresented groups. Deployment drift. Models perform differently as populations evolve. Joseph, 2025. Automation bias. Humans often defer to AI results even when they conflict with other evidence. Wiener, 2025. Even mature AI ethics frameworks struggle with invisible bias, leading to injustice, loss of autonomy, bad outcomes, and opaque accountability. Hoffman, 2025, acronym IBATA. Why ethical failures matter. Bias isn't just unfair, it undermines trust, effectiveness, and legitimacy. In healthcare, biased AI can deny critical care and widen mortality gaps. In justice, predictive tools like Compass wrongly label black defendants as higher risk, impacting parole and sentencing. Angwin et al. Public services delivered by biased models, like healthcare assessments, can systematically disadvantage women and marginalized communities. How to prevent bias, a strategic blueprint. Ethics by design. Embed fairness, transparency, and accountability from the outset. Conduct impact assessments and bias testing before deployment. EY, 2025. Diverse, representative data. Use balanced datasets. Techniques like reweighting or augmentation ensure inclusivity. Hazanzada, 2025. Human in the loop, HITL. Maintain human oversight in high-stakes decisions. Human judgment must mediate judgments AI can't contextualize ethically. Financial Times, KPMG, 2024, IBM Watsonks. Transparency and explainability. Use XAI, glass box models, so users understand decision logic, especially in finance, healthcare, and public services. Reuters, 2024, Harvard. Stakeholder engagement. Ethically aligned AI involves communities from design to deployment, ensuring models reflect lived values. Ken Erica Blog, 2025. Continuous monitoring and audits. Regular bias audits, data monitoring, and feedback loops help detect drift and anomalies. Jack Henry, 2024. Adherence to rights-based principles. UNESCO and OECD frameworks emphasize proportionality, privacy, accountability, and inclusive governance. UNESCO, 2025. Frameworks and global norms for ethical AI. Standards such as ISO/IEC 24027 and IEEE ethically aligned design set best practices for fairness and accountability. Emerging legislation, including the EU AI Act and US Algorithmic Accountability Act, mandates impact assessments for high-risk use cases. SmartDev, 2025. The Algorithm for Equality Manifesto and Platform champions AI systems designed to actively remediate historic injustice, not only avoid harm. Time Coverage, 2024. Fictional illustration, AI for good, if guided right. Imagine a microloan AI tool in Nairobi that denies loans to some applicants due to gender bias in training data. A review board intervenes, they retrain the model by oversampling loans from female entrepreneurs, and add human review for edge cases. Outcome. Loan access improves across genders, and trust in the system rises. That is bias mitigation in action, practical, structural, just. From failure to forgiveness. We started with bias as an inevitable mirror of history. Now, bias must be the catalyst for better AI. Designing systems grounded in fairness isn't just ethical, it's strategic, sustainable, and trust-building. Without it, AI can reinforce oppression and fracture social trust. But with it, AI becomes truly inclusive. Where every voice, identity, and community can be represented, respected, and empowered. The choice is ours, to let bias remain embedded in our legacy, or to name it, design out of it, and move forward ethically. Chapter 15, Privacy, Power and Control. In the age of information, ignorance is a choice, in the age of surveillance, privacy is a battle. Preventing misuse. The first time the alerts arrive, they look helpful. A shopping discount, a credit, pre-approval, a nudge from your health app to get more steps. But behind the glow of the screen, a different ledger is being tallied: your whereabouts near a clinic last Tuesday, the late-night messages you typed and erased, the time you lingered on a video about debt relief, the extra 5 minutes you spent outside an employment center. The modern attention economy did not begin as a conspiracy, it evolved as a convenience. Yet convenience at scale can calcify into control. When artificial intelligence supercharges that data flow, inferring, predicting, nudging, privacy stops being a personal preference and becomes a public power struggle. Zuboff, 2019. This chapter is about that struggle, how data-loving business models and state security logics can fuse into an always-on extraction machine, and how we can design, govern, and demand AI that serves people rather than subsuming them. It is not a rejection of AI's promise, it is a blueprint to keep the promise intact. The asymmetry engine. AI thrives on correlation density, more signals, more context, more labels. The institutions that own the pipes, platforms, app ecosystems, ad exchanges, data brokers, cloud providers, and, increasingly, governments, accumulate leverage from this data gravity. A like or a purchase is no longer a discrete choice, it is an input to a cascade of predictions. Creditworthiness, churn risk, personality traits, protest participation probability, even health status, Acquisi et al., 2016. When these predictions drive pricing, policing, hiring, credit, or political messaging, privacy morphs into power, the right to be profiled becomes the right to be sorted, and the right to be sorted becomes the right to be steered. The European Union's Digital Services Act and the newer AI Act are explicit acknowledgements of this asymmetry. They restrict opaque recommender systems, prohibit certain forms of biometric mass surveillance, and place heightened obligations on high-risk AI, European Commission, 2024. When optimization becomes overreach. The data broker problem. If data is the new oil, data brokers are its refineries, aggregating precise location traces, purchase histories, and app metadata into dossiers about millions. In the United States, the Federal Trade Commission sued Cocava, a location data broker, alleging it sold sensitive geolocation data that could reveal visits to places like reproductive health clinics and places of worship. FTC, 2023. In 2024, a federal appeals court revived the case, underscoring the harm of selling such data without meaningful consent. 9th Circuit, 2024. FTC, 2023, 9th Circuit, 2024. Biometric overreach. Clearview AI scraped billions of facial images from the open web to build an identification engine marketed to law enforcement and private clients, without the consent of the individuals in those photos. European and UK regulators issued orders and fines, citing violations of data protection law and demanding deletion of EU residents' data. ICO, 2022, CNIL, 2022. ICO, 2022, CNIL, 2022. At the state level, Illinois Biometric Information Privacy Act, BIPA, became a rare statute with real bite. Class actions have produced major settlements, including BNSF Railway's $75 million agreement over fingerprint collection at facilities. Reuters, 2024. In 2024, Illinois amended BIPA to limit astronomical damages after its Supreme Court held that each scan could constitute a separate violation, clarifying the compliance bar while retaining strong consent rules. Illinois Supreme Court, 2023, Illinois Amendment, 2024. Reuters, 2024, Illinois Supreme Court, 2023, Illinois Amendment, 2024. Hiring and workplace surveillance. Employers increasingly use AI for resume screening, video interviews, productivity scoring, and even sentiment tracking. New York City's Local Law 144 requires bias audits, notices to candidates, and transparency about automated employment decision tools, a concrete curb on opaque hiring algorithms. NYC DCWP, 2023, UK Gov AI Assurance Note on NYC Law 144, 2024. NYC DCWP, 2023, Government of the UK, 2024. These interventions matter because the incentives to surveil are persistent, task time analytics promise marginal productivity gains, and algorithmic risk scores promise marginal legal cover. Without rules and redress, optimization drifts into coercion. Workers change behavior not because of feedback, but because a camera is always on. Molman and Zalmanson, 2021. Health data without the patient. In healthcare, the privacy stakes rise with model accuracy. The Project Nightingale partnership between Google and Ascension quietly moved vast numbers of identifiable patient records into an AI analytics pipeline. It triggered public backlash about whether HIPAA's business associate rules should permit such transfers without explicit patient notice. Stat. 2019. The lesson is not that analytics are harmful, but that trust collapses when data flows are invisible to the people whose lives they describe. Stat. 2019. Why this matters. Trust, legitimacy, and the chilling effect. Privacy is not secrecy, it is the boundary that lets people explore, dissent, and become, without being sorted too soon or punished for statistical resemblance. When AI systems make opaque predictions about individuals and those predictions drive material outcomes, loans, jobs, bail, benefits, errors and biases harden into structural unfairness. The knowledge that one's face, voice, or messages are perpetually mined changes behavior. Fewer clinic visits, less political speech, more conformity. That is a tax on human possibility. Solove, 2007. The guardrails, law, standards, and engineering that rebalance power. Let's go through these one by one. 1. Hard law and structural rules. Comprehensive AI and data protection laws. The EU AI Act bans unacceptable uses, e.g., social scoring by public authorities, and imposes risk-tiered obligations on developers and deployers, from data governance and documentation to post-market monitoring. European Parliament and Council, 2024. GDPR enforcement continues to reshape platform practices, exemplified by large fines for unlawful data transfers and targeted ads models that lack valid consent. EDPB and DPC, 2023-24. European Parliament and Council, 2024. Sectoral and local rules. NYC's Law 144 on hiring audits and Illinois' BPA for biometrics show how narrow, enforceable rules can change incentives fast. NYC DCWP, 2023, Reuters, 2024. NYC DCWP, 2023, Reuters, 2024. Public procurement and impact assessments. Canada's mandatory algorithmic impact assessment ties deployment to risk scoring, transparency, and mitigation duties before launch. A practical template for agencies everywhere. Treasury Board of Canada, 2025. Treasury Board of Canada, 2025. 2. Voluntary but verifiable standards. NIST AI Risk Management Framework. A widely used playbook that anchors trustworthy AI in privacy enhancement, accountability, and bias mitigation across the lifecycle. NIST, 2023. NIST, 2023. ISO/IEC 42001. The first auditable AI management system standard, helping organizations evidence controls for risk, privacy, and governance, much like ISO 27001 did for security. ISO 2023/24. ISO 2024. OECD AI Principles, updated 2024. A human rights-anchored international baseline, fairness and privacy, transparency, robustness, and accountability. OECD, 2024. OECD, 2024. 3. Privacy-preserving engineering. Data minimization by design. Collect less, retain briefly, partition access, default to on-device processing where possible. Differential privacy. Adds carefully calibrated noise so useful aggregates don't reveal individuals, now a mainstream technique recommended by standards bodies. NIST, 2023. NIST, 2023. Federated learning. Models learn across devices or silos without centralizing raw data, reducing breach blast radius while preserving utility. McMahon et al., 2017. McMahon et al., 2017. Provenance and authenticity. To resist synthetic media manipulation, adopt C2PA/content credentials so images and videos carry verifiable origin metadata. Camera makers and platforms began shipping support in 2024. C2PA, 2024. Adobe, 2024. Nikon, 2024. Pointers to prevent misuse. 1. No surprise data flows. If a reasonable user would be surprised to learn their data is collected or repurposed, don't do it, or make it explicit, opt-in, and revocable. GDPR's purpose limitation is your North Star. European Commission, 2024. 2. Minimize and compartmentalize. Treat data like toxic waste, collect the least, store the shortest, separate keys from content, and segment duties. 3. Encrypt end-to-end, and defend it. Resist mandates that require client-side scanning or backdoors. Once weakened, encryption protects no one. Euronews, 2025, UK Government, 2024. 4. Watermark the world. Adopt provenance, C2PA/content credentials, in creative tools and newsroom pipelines to defend against deepfakes and synthetic media floods, C2PA, 2024. 5. Put people in the loop for consequential decisions. For jobs, loans, medical triage, or policing, require human review, documented reasoning, and appeal channels, NYC Law 144, EU AI Act High-Risk Obligations. NYC DCWP, 2023. European Commission, 2024. 6. Demand audit rights in contracts. If you buy AI, you buy the right to inspect, training data lineage, fine-tuning corpora, retention/deletion logs, and evaluation protocols. 7. Ban emotion inference and biometric categorization at work and school. Where the law isn't explicit, make policy explicit. These systems are neither reliable nor proportional. EU AI Act trendlines. 8. De-risk public safety uses. No untargeted facial recognition or predictive policing without statutory limits, independent accuracy/bias audits, and public reporting. BBC, 2024. 9. Close the data broker loophole. Require licenses, registries, easy opt-outs, and government purchase warrants. The GAO's findings show why. GAO, 2024. 10. Invest in public interest infrastructure. Fund open, privacy-preserving datasets and evaluation benches, train and hire public sector AI auditors. Align incentives for safety claims with liability for failures, NIST, ISO, OECD. A shared standard of proof. Skeptics ask, will any of this slow innovation? History says the opposite. Seatbelts didn't end cars, food safety didn't end restaurants, cybersecurity standards didn't end the internet. They made systems resilient, and unlocked trust at scale. The same will be true for AI if we insist on verifiable claims rather than marketing adjectives. That's why auditable frameworks like NIST's AI RMF and ISO/IEC 42001 matter. They convert aspirations into checkable controls. Keeping the promise. We began this book with a simple conviction: AI can be a force multiplier for human dignity. That is still true, but only if the systems we build and buy are accountable to the people they affect. Privacy is not a nostalgic luxury, it is the geometry of freedom in a predictive age. The question is not whether corporations and governments will use AI, they already do. The question is whether we, as citizens, workers, builders, and leaders, will demand the guardrails that keep convenience from curdling into control. If we do, we will not shrink AI's promise, we will safeguard it, for patients and parents, for workers and artists, for the dissenters we will one day be grateful to have. Part 5, The Road Ahead. Chapter 16, Principles for an Ethical AI Future. The future of AI will not be defined only by what we can build, but by what we choose to protect. The fork in the road. Artificial intelligence has already crossed into nearly every part of modern life: hospitals, schools, factories, farms, and even our private conversations. But the speed of adoption has far outpaced the speed of reflection. The central question now is not can we build it, but should we, and how? History reminds us that technological revolutions without ethical anchors often lead to harm. The Industrial Revolution boosted production but deepened child labor and unsafe working conditions. Nuclear power opened limitless energy but also unleashed devastation in war. With AI, we have the opportunity, and responsibility, to write the principles first, not as an afterthought. The core principles of ethical AI. 1. Fairness and inclusivity. AI must serve everyone, not just those with the loudest voices or most data. Systems should be trained on datasets that represent the diversity of humanity, race, gender, geography, and socio-economic background. Example: When Apple's credit card algorithm gave higher credit limits to men than women, even within the same household, it sparked investigations into gender bias. A lack of inclusivity in training data amplified inequality instead of reducing it. Guideline. Every AI system should undergo bias audits, evaluating outcomes across different demographics before release. Fairness should be an engineering metric, as important as accuracy. 2. Transparency and explainability. AI often functions as a black box, making decisions even its creators cannot fully explain. But in high-stakes areas, loans, hiring, healthcare, opacity is unacceptable. Example, the Compass algorithm, used in U.S. courts to predict recidivism, was found to give higher risk scores to black defendants despite no higher likelihood of reoffending. The problem wasn't only bias, it was secrecy. Judges and defendants couldn't challenge a system they couldn't see. Guideline: AI must be explainable to non-experts. Think of it as an AI nutrition label, where every system discloses how it was trained, its limitations, and where it might fail. 3. Accountability and responsibility. When AI harms, who is responsible, the coder, the company, or the end user? Without accountability, harms fall into a vacuum. Example, in 2018, a self-driving Uber car struck and killed a pedestrian in Arizona. Investigations revealed a lack of clear safety protocols, blurred responsibility between the technology provider and the human backup driver. Guideline: assign accountability before deployment. Every AI project must have a clear chain of responsibility, just like aviation has pilots, airlines, and regulators. 4. Privacy and data protection. AI thrives on data, but human dignity thrives on privacy. Excessive data collection risks turning society into a surveillance economy. Example, Clearview AI scraped billions of photos without consent, offering facial recognition services to police and private clients. Regulators in Europe declared it unlawful and ordered data deletion. Guideline. Adopt data minimization by design. Collect only what's needed, store it briefly, anonymize aggressively, and let people opt out. 5. Safety and security. AI systems are vulnerable to manipulation, data poisoning, adversarial attacks, or misuse. Safety is not optional, it must be embedded. Example, researchers showed that by subtly altering pixels on a stop sign, an AI-powered car vision system misread it as a speed limit sign. In the wrong conditions, such vulnerabilities could be deadly. Guideline: test AI as rigorously as airplanes or pharmaceuticals. Stress test against adversarial inputs before public deployment. 6. Human oversight and control. AI should assist, not replace, human judgment, especially in moral or life and death decisions. Example, in healthcare, AI can suggest treatment options, but final judgment must remain with trained doctors who can weigh context, empathy, and ethics. Guideline. Keep humans in the loop for consequential decisions, with clear override authority. Automation should enhance human capacity, not erode it. 7. Sustainability and environmental responsibility. AI training consumes vast energy. A single large language model can emit as much carbon as 5 cars over their lifetimes. Ignoring sustainability risks turning a tool of progress into an environmental burden. Example. Google has begun building carbon-neutral data centers, using AI itself to optimize cooling and energy use. Guideline: ethical AI is also green AI. Models must be evaluated not only for accuracy and bias, but also for their carbon footprint. 8. Global equity and access. If AI remains in the hands of a few corporations or wealthy nations, it will deepen inequality. True progress requires democratizing access. Example, WeFarm, an SMS-based AI network in Africa, lets small farmers share agricultural knowledge without internet access. This is AI meeting people where they are. Guideline: build for global inclusion. Prioritize accessibility, local languages, low-cost devices, offline options, so AI doesn't just empower the privileged. Case study: when principles work. Consider the example of Ada Health, an AI-powered health app that offers symptom checking in Swahili, making healthcare access easier for East Africans. Ada worked with local communities, ensured multilingual inclusivity, and partnered with NGOs to provide transparency and accountability. The result, AI that genuinely empowered rather than excluded. This is what ethical principles look like in action. Not abstract ideals, but guardrails that lead to tangible trust. What we need next. Principles alone are not enough. They must be institutionalized. That means laws. The EU AI Act is a step forward, banning high-risk uses like social scoring. Standards. ISO and NIST frameworks are giving businesses practical compliance blueprints. Culture. Organizations must embrace ethics not as a compliance checklist, but as part of their DNA. Most importantly, ethical AI requires courage. The courage to say no to profitable but harmful deployments, the courage to slow down when safety isn't proven, and the courage to design for people first. Special edition by Jaideep. AI, a two-sided sword. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the most powerful tool humanity has ever created. Yet, like every powerful tool, it is nothing less than a two-sided sword. On one edge, it holds the potential to transform medicine, education, business, and human creativity. On the other, it can create dilemmas, ethical, social, and even existential. I say this not as an observer, but as a continuous learner and researcher who has tested AI in multiple domains. Over the years, I have used it to build businesses, conduct research, and design new systems. I have also witnessed its limitations. AI can generate remarkable insights, but it can also hallucinate, producing confident but inaccurate answers. It can amplify clarity, but also reinforce confusion if used without reflection. That is why my firm belief is this: AI should remain the assistant, not the master. If we treat AI as our ruler, we risk becoming passive consumers of its output. But if we remain the masters, guiding it with clarity, questioning its responses, and shaping its direction, we can leverage its power for unprecedented outcomes. In my own practice, I never rely on AI outputs blindly. I read widely, test rigorously, and only then arrive at conclusions. The true key is clarity of thought. Before you ask AI to solve a problem, you must first understand what problem you want to solve. Before you scale with AI, you must ensure your foundations are right. So my suggestion to all who wish to ride the AI wave is this: use it as a partner in brainstorming, not as a substitute for thinking. Bring your best clarity, creativity, and discipline to the table, and let AI amplify your capacity. When we take charge as masters of AI, not slaves to it, we unlock its true potential for the betterment of humanity. A compass for tomorrow. AI's future is not just about intelligence, it is about integrity. By anchoring AI in fairness, transparency, accountability, privacy, safety, oversight, sustainability, and equity, we can build a technology that doesn't merely impress, but inspires trust. If these principles become our compass, AI will not only be powerful, it will be principled. And a principled AI is one that humanity can embrace with both confidence and hope. Chapter 17, A Call for Global Collaboration. No single nation, company, or community will solve the problem of our century alone. The future of AI must be co-authored by governments, researchers, civil society, and the people who will live with its consequences. When a village farmer in Kericho, Kenya, opens an AI-powered advice app and reads a weather-adjusted planting tip, and when a policymaker in Geneva reads the same anonymized dataset to design food security support, two worlds have met. That meeting, between local lived experience and global capacity, is the very heart of what we mean by global collaboration. It is not lofty rhetoric. It is practical, replicable, and already delivering measurable change when done the right way. The challenge before us is simple to state and fiendishly hard to achieve: how do we scale community-centric AI solutions so that they benefit billions, not just a few? What follows is both a diagnosis of how collaboration works on the ground and a practical blueprint for how it must work at scale. Why collaboration matters, and what it achieves. AI thrives on two things: data and context. Data gives models scale, context gives them direction. Neither is sufficient alone. When communities supply contextual knowledge, local languages, farming cycles, cultural norms, and international partners supply compute, research, and standards, the result is systems that are both powerful and relevant. That's not hypothetical, The Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, GPAI, and multilateral bodies now prioritize exactly this mix: cross-border research, data governance guidance, and capacity-building initiatives to ensure AI's benefits are shared. OECD/GPAI, 2024. At the United Nations and UNESCO levels, ethics and human rights frameworks have become the lingua franca for international action, binding principles that orient technical work toward social outcomes. UNESCO, 2024. Community Country Global: How Local Projects Scale. A powerful pattern emerges when we analyze successful projects. They start hyperlocal, prove impact, connect to national systems, and finally inform global practice. Here are concrete examples. Farmer networks that went national. WeFarm began as a farmer-to-farmer SMS network and grew into one of the world's largest peer networks for smallholders, demonstrating that low-tech, high social capital solutions can scale rapidly when they solve an immediate need. WeFarm, 2018. Localized health guidance scaled regionally. Ada Health built a Swahili language AI symptom checker to serve East Africa, bringing first-line guidance to millions and showing how local language adaptation unlocks reach and trust. Ada Health/Foundation Botner, 2019, 2023. Agricultural information systems moved from pilots into national operations. Wadhwani AI's Krishi 24/7, originally a research-driven tool, was taken up by India's Department of Agriculture to generate real-time agricultural alerts at scale, evidence that government adoption can multiply local impact nationally. Wadhwani AI/DA&FW, 2023. Flying Labs and Local Robotics. WeRobotics Flying Labs established locally owned drone labs across dozens of countries. Their model is explicit: equip local teams with technology and expertise so that mapping, disaster response, and agricultural monitoring are locally driven and sustainable. WeRobotics, 2024. Each of these examples shares the same formula: local ownership plus appropriate technology plus partnership with larger institutions equals scalable humanitarian impact. The elements of effective global collaboration. From the cases above, 5 practical elements repeatedly show up. 1. Local leadership and ownership. Projects succeed when local actors, not remote consultants, define the problem and maintain governance over data and models. Digital Green, 2024. 2. Language and cultural adaptation. AI systems must speak the languages of the people they serve, literal and cultural. Ada's Swahili launch and Digital Green's multilingual farmer chat are textbook examples of how localization multiplies utility. Ada Health, 2019, Digital Green, 2024. 3. Sustainable financing and public-private coordination. Many pilots fail when funding stops. Scaling requires hybrid financing, grants to prove models, matched with government procurement and private investment to sustain growth. OECD/GPAI reports. 4. Open standards and shared datasets. Interoperability reduces duplication and accelerates deployment. When partners agree on data standards and APIs, innovation multiplies without reinventing the wheel. GPAI Data Governance WG, 2023. 5. Ethics and human rights safeguards from day one. Collaboration must bake in ethical review and redress mechanisms, so scaled systems don't scale harm. UNESCO Recommendation, 2024. Community success stories that illustrate scaling potential. Let's look deeper at a few ground stories and the lessons they offer. Digital Green, from villages to national programs. Digital Green's farmer chat combines video extension models with AI to deliver climate-smart messages in local languages. Pilots improved yields and adoption of best practices. Scaling happened through government partnerships and NGO networks, turning an evidence-based local model into a public policy instrument. Digital Green Evidence Review, 2023. Flying Labs. Local capacity for global problems. The WeRobotics Flying Labs network trains local operators to use drones and AI for mapping, reforestation, and inspection. By decentralizing ownership, countries avoid the helicopter tech trap and build local expertise that can be mobilized in crises, then shared internationally through the network. WeRobotics Impact Report, 2024. Krishi 24/7, Evidence Government Adoption. A monitoring tool that analyzed agricultural news and risk indicators was integrated into national decision-making in India, showing how rigorous pilot evidence attracts policy uptake. When governments see operational value, scaling becomes budgeted policy. not pilot noise, Wadhwani AI/Ministry of Agriculture, 2023. The role of Rethynk AI, a founding vision. At Rethynk AI, our founding vision is to make AI accessible, affordable, available, not as marketing but as mission. We believe that democratized AI must include free, open educational resources, local language tooling, and pathways for communities to own their data and models. Rethynk AI is committed to training, curriculum, and platform tools with the explicit aim of empowering at least 10 million people, teachers, farmers, healers, small entrepreneurs, to use AI for local problem solving. This ambition is practical. Educational modules, mentorship programs, open datasets, and low-code model templates can together create an ecosystem where millions gain the capacity to both use and govern AI. That is the essence of scalable collaboration, not donating a black box app, but building lasting capability. How nations, communities, and individuals can act, a practical roadmap. Map local needs before designing tech. Start with village councils, health workers, and teachers. Build prototypes that solve those needs. Digital green lessons. Fund public interest compute and datasets. Wealthy nations and foundations should underwrite shared compute credits and curated datasets for public interest models, GPAI and UNESCO recommendations. Invest in local talent and institutions. Train local engineers, ethicists, and community facilitators, not only to deploy, but to maintain and adapt systems, We Robotics Flying Labs model. Adopt open standards and portable models. Encourage use of small, efficient local models, SLMs, that run offline and in low-bandwidth contexts, reducing dependency on centralized, expensive cloud models. FT Tech for Growth recommendations. Create governance compacts. Local councils, users, and civil society must be seated at the procurement table so systems come with redress, transparency, and community veto. Collaboration in action, financing, norms, and speed. Scale requires three things simultaneously: money, norms, and speed. Philanthropic grants jumpstart pilots, governments anchor programs into budgets, international standards ensure ethical consistency. The GPAI and UNESCO frameworks show how norm setting and capacity building can proceed in parallel with technology deployment, OECD/GPAI, UNESCO, 2024. Remarkably, community projects often move faster than national procurement cycles. The trick is to marry the two: proof of impact from communities, that demand signal. Should be translatable into procurement language so governments can confidently adopt at scale. A rallying call. If collaboration sounds idealistic, remember that it is already happening, on farms, in clinics, and in local labs. What we ask now is to enlarge the circle: more funders, more standards, more governments, and more local leaders at the table. Rethynk AI's pledge to train and equip 10 million people is one node in this growing ecosystem. A practical demonstration of how a mission-driven organization can amplify community capabilities. The future of democratized AI will not be written by a single code repository or a single policy. It will be authored by millions of small decisions, by a farmer sharing a photo of a blight, a teacher adapting an AI lesson for local culture, a ministry purchasing a proven advisory tool for nationwide rollout, and a global partnership ensuring ethical guardrails. When these decisions align, the result is not just technological impact, but social transformation. The logic of solidarity. Global collaboration is not a charity model, it is an efficiency model. When we pool knowledge, share standards, and fund public interest infrastructure, we reduce duplication, accelerate impact, and create resilient systems that endure. That is the logic of solidarity. Helping others helps everyone, because more resilient communities mean fewer crises, stronger markets, and richer human futures. Join the effort, whether you are a minister, a maker, a teacher, or a student. Build local first. Share openly. Fund responsibly. And above all, insist that the AI we scale is the AI we would want for our own children. Chapter 18, Our Pledge. Every revolution begins not with machines, but with people who decide to act. Our commitment. This book has been more than an exploration of artificial intelligence, it has been a journey through possibilities, challenges, and responsibilities. Together, we we have looked at how AI can heal, equalize, and empower, how it can also divide, distort, and harm. The story of AI is not written yet, it is still unfolding. As co-authors, we, Elaine and Jaideep, make a pledge. Not to perfection, but to persistence. Not to profit alone, but to purpose. We commit to building, teaching, and sharing AI in ways that honor humanity, protect dignity, and expand opportunity. We pledge to democratize AI, to make it accessible, affordable, and available to every community, not just the privileged few. We pledge to embed empathy into intelligence, to design, advocate for, and use AI systems that listen, understand, and support human needs, especially for the vulnerable. We pledge to hold ourselves accountable. To constantly question whether the AI we build or endorse is aligned with human flourishing. We pledge to educate at scale, through Rethynk AI's mission to empower at least 10 million people with knowledge, skills, and tools to use AI responsibly. We pledge to stay human first, to never forget that technology is the servant, and humanity is the master. The reader's role, joining the movement. But this pledge cannot belong to us alone. A future where AI uplifts rather than undermines will require a movement, and that includes you. The reader is not a spectator in this revolution, you are a participant. Here are ways you can take part. Educate yourself, then educate others. Learn about AI, not only how it works, but also what it means. Share knowledge in your community, your workplace, and your family. Make AI literacy as common as financial literacy. Demand ethical AI. When you see bias, opacity, or misuse, speak up. As a consumer, employee, or citizen, your voice influences companies and governments. Ask the hard questions: who built this AI? Who benefits? Who might be harmed? Experiment with purpose. Use AI in your own life, not just to work faster, but to solve problems that matter to you. From small businesses improving operations, to teachers crafting personalized lessons, to artists finding new forms of expression, your experiments are the seeds of systemic change. Support community projects. Volunteer, fund, or contribute data responsibly to local AI initiatives. Remember that global change often starts with small-scale pilots rooted in community needs. Live the three as: accessible, affordable, and available. When you adopt, advocate, or build AI, make sure it respects these three principles. Ask: can my neighbor afford this? Can my grandmother use this? Can my child learn from this safely? An invitation to imagine. Imagine a world where an AI-powered health assistant helps prevent disease in remote villages. Imagine small farmers thriving because predictive models give them fair market prices. Imagine students in underfunded schools accessing the same personalized learning resources as elite institutions. Imagine families like Elaine's, finding healing and hope through AI tools that combine empathy with intelligence. This is not science fiction. It is the horizon of possibility, if we choose it together. The closing thought. The story of AI is, in truth, the story of humanity. Machines will not write its ending, we will. What we do today, the values we embed, the systems we build, and the collaborations we forge will shape whether AI becomes a burden or a blessing. So let this book not end with a period, but with an invitation. An invitation to commit, to act, and to pledge. Our pledge is to you, to the future, and to humanity. Now, the question is, what will your pledge be? About the authors. Jaideep Parashar. Jaideep Parashar is the founder and director of Rethynk AI Innovation and Research, a global platform dedicated to advancing AI literacy, research, and ethical adoption. A former government professional who chose passion over security, Jaideep has spent more than 18 years immersed in business consulting, research, and innovation. An accomplished author, researcher, investor, keynote speaker, and guest lecturer, he has compiled one of the world's most comprehensive collections of AI prompts, 25,000 use cases covering virtually every domain of work, which is now being leveraged by individuals and organizations across the US, Europe, and beyond. Beyond AI, Jaideep is an avid sports enthusiast and a taekwondo player. Having overcome significant health challenges, he embodies resilience and discipline, inspiring others to pursue strength in both body and mind. A voracious reader who has studied over 1,300 books since 2008, he believes clarity of thought and continuous learning are the true differentiators in the AI age. Jaideep's vision is simple yet profound. To make AI accessible, affordable, and available for at least 10 million people worldwide, empowering communities with knowledge, tools, and systems to thrive in the future. Elaine Lloyd. Elaine Lloyd is a humanitarian, creative thinker, and empathetic guide who turned personal tragedy into a mission of healing and service. Living in Oldham with her 2 children, Owen and Holly, she faced the devastating loss of her husband Neil to an aneurysm in his throat at the age of 48. In her pursuit to heal and support her family, Elaine enrolled in the Grief and Bereavement Diploma course at the Center of Excellence. She completed the 2-year program on Neil's birthday, a symbolic milestone that marked not just her academic achievement but a transformation of grief into purpose. With the knowledge gained, she supported her children and herself through one of life's most difficult journeys. Elaine channels creativity as a force for healing. She crafts healing cushions for her local community, wrote and recorded the song I Believe in Angels in Neil's memory, and authored a memoir of the same title. Her spirituality and empathy guide her mission to help those who are silently suffering, offering them hope and light. Now, through this collaboration, Elaine brings her humanitarian perspective to the conversation on AI, reminding us that technology must remain grounded in empathy, healing, and the service of humanity. Bibliography. 1. Ada Health/Foundation Botner, Ada launches Swahili Symptom Checker for East Africa, Ada Health, 2019. 2. Angwin, J., Larson, J., Matu, S., and Kirchner, L., Machine Bias, ProPublica, 2016. 3. Clearview AI, Regulators Rule Facial Recognition Practices Unlawful, European Data Protection Authorities, 2021. 4. Digital Green, Farmer Chat, Scaling Climate-Smart Agriculture with AI, Digital Green Report, 2024. 5. EY, AI Ethics and Responsible AI Development, EY Global Report, 2025. 6. Google.org, AI for Crisis Response, Rapid Cash Transfers After Hurricane Ian, Google.org Report, 2022. 7. GPAI, Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, Data Governance Working Group Annual Report, OECD/GPAI, 2024. 8. Hoffman, S., Invisible Bias in AI, The Abata Framework, AI and Society, 2025. 9. KPMG/Financial Times, AI in the Boardroom, Oversight and Ethics, Financial Times Special Report, 2024. 10. LSE, London School of Economics, Rickman, A., AI Bias in Social Care Summaries, LSE Research, 2025. 11. Optum/Science, Obermeyer, Z., et al., Dissecting Racial Bias in an Algorithm, Science, 2019. 12. UNESCO, Recommendation on the Ethics of Artificial Intelligence, UNESCO, 2024. 13. Wadhwani AI/Ministry of Agriculture, Kushi 24/7, Agricultural Risk Analysis, Wadhwani AI, 2023. 14. WeFarm, 1 Million Farmers Connect via SMS AI Network, WeFarm Impact Report, 2018. 15. WeRobotics, Flying Labs, Decentralizing Drone AI, WeRobotics Global Report, 2024. References. 1. Ada Health/Foundation Botner, Ada launches Swahili Symptom Checker for East Africa, Ada Health, 2019. 2. Angwin, J., Larson, J., Matu, S., and Kirchner, L., Machine Bias, ProPublica, 2016. 3. Apple Card Case, The Markup, Apple Card's Algorithm Discriminated Against Women, The Markup, 2021. 4. Carter, R., Mapping the Mind, University of California Press, 2009. 5. Carter, R. The Human Brain Book, An Illustrated Guide to Its Structure, Function, and Disorders, DK Publishing, 2014. 6. Clearview AI, Regulators Rule Facial Recognition Practices Unlawful, European Data Protection Authorities, 2021. 7. Digital Green, Farmer Chat, Scaling Climate-Smart Agriculture with AI, Digital Green Report, 2024. 8. EY, AI Ethics and Responsible AI Development, EY Global Report, 2025. 9. Georgia State University/NIST, Facial Recognition Vendor Test, FRVT. National Institute of Standards and Technology, 2019. 10. Google.org, AI for Crisis Response, Rapid Cash Transfers After Hurricane Ian, Google.org Report, 2022. 11. GPAI, Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, Data Governance Working Group Annual Report, OECD/GPAI, 2024. 12. Guardian, Virtual Agronomist Boosts Farmers' Yields, The Guardian, 2024. 13. Harvard Business Review, Explainable AI, The Next Frontier, Harvard Business Review, 2024. 14. Hazanzadeh, N. Bias Mitigation Techniques in AI Systems, Journal of AI Ethics, 2025. 15. Hoffman, S., Invisible Bias in AI, The Abata Framework, AI and Society, 2025. 16. IBM, Responsible AI with Watsonks, IBM Research, 2024. 17. Jack Henry, Continuous AI Monitoring and Fairness Audits, Jack Henry FinTech Report, 2024. 18. Joseph, E., Model Drift and Ethical Risks, AI Now Institute Report, 2025. 19. Canerica, Ethical AI and Stakeholder Engagement, Canerica Blog, 2025. 20. KPMG/Financial Times, AI in the Boardroom, Oversight and Ethics, Financial Times Special Report, 2024. 21. LSE, London School of Economics, Rickman, A., AI Bias in Social Care Summaries, LSE Research, 2025. 22. NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, Face Recognition Vendor Test, FRVT, Results, NIST Report, 2019. 23. Optum/Science, Racial Bias in Healthcare Algorithms, Science, 2019. 24. Parthasarathi, B. and Katzman, J. Context-Aware AI for Communities, Journal of Development Technology, 2024. 25. Paragon and Malawi Ministry of Health, Reducing Stillbirths Through AI, Malawi Case Study, 2024. 26. ProPublica, Machine Bias, Risk Assessments in Criminal Justice, ProPublica, 2016. 27. Reuters, Amazon Scraps AI Recruiting Tool That Showed Bias Against Women, Reuters, 2018. 28. Reuters, Transparent AI, Regulators Push for Explainability, Reuters Tech Report, 2024. 29. Science, Obermeyer et al. Dissecting Racial Bias in an Algorithm, Science, 2019. 30. Smart Dev, ISO/IEC 24027 in Global AI Standards, Smart Dev Report, 2025. 31. Times of India, Kaushalendra's Grassroots AI Program, The Times of India, 2025. 32. UNESCO, Recommendation on the Ethics of Artificial Intelligence, UNESCO, 2024. 33. UNHCR, AI Chatbot Supporting Refugees, UNHCR Innovation Service, 2024. 34. Wadhwani AI/Ministry of Agriculture, Krishi 24/7, Agricultural Risk Analysis, Wadhwani AI, 2023. 35. Washkaro Team, Multilingual COVID-19 Chatbot in India, Washkaro Case Study, 2020. 36. WeFarm, 1 million farmers connect via SMS AI Network, WeFarm Impact Report, 2018. 37. WeRobotics, Flying Labs, Decentralizing Drone AI, WeRobotics Global Report, 2024. 38. Wiener, N., Automation Bias and Human Judgment, AI and Human Factors Journal, 2025. 39. Yang, H., et al., Offline AI Screening Tools for Healthcare, Journal of Medical AI, 2023.